So
laid plans of mice and men.
that's the nature of things, I guess, these days. But there's plenty to get to. Plenty to get to. In fact, plenty of happy things to get to.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for
I think
instance.
it's a bait and switch.
Hmm?
I think this is a bait and switch.
Oh, no. Schumer came.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, right?
I think he had to, right?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah. I think if they would have shut it down, what you mentioned the other day about, well, you can kind of say what's essential and what's not. I think somebody got that message.
Well, and they also realized what I was saying yesterday, that if you shut down the government, I think you're going to end up empowering Doge.
Yeah.
And what Trump and team are already doing through OMB even more. So that's a wonderful thing.
You saw the 10,000 people.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that.
Wow.
I saw that Trump's really pushing this ceasefire deal. Putin kind of gave a qualified yes, hedging a great deal about that. Hamas terrorists agreed to release last living American hostage. Surprising results in the Greenland elections. The Independence Party winning there pretty strong. So, well, that's a good sign for Trump's plan about Greenland. Also, Trump asking the Pentagon to draw up military options for the Panama Canal, the least likely being an actual seizure by the military, most likely being just providing security and support to the now American company, as BlackRock has bought up the operations of the canal. SpaceX rescue mission was delayed a few days. It's rescheduled for today to rescue those astronauts that have been stuck up there for 8-something months. Wow. Trump to invoke wartime powers, that is a 1798 statute, as a Gitmo readies for heavy influx of illegals. It's to deport violent gang members to Gitmo. A 1798 law to make that happen. As birthright citizenship, that whole question he signed with the executive order, that is now going before the United States Supreme Court on an emergency appeal. Many conservative media figures, targets of swatting incidents. Many. It's not just, one happened. It just happened to Tim Pool a lot.
Right.
But it was several prominent online conservative commentators, all swatted within the same few hours. Yeah. Pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Pretty messed up. In just hilarious news, thousands of acres of protected Amazon rainforest cleared to build highway for UN climate summit. Thousands of acres of protected Amazon rainforest cleared to build highway for a climate summit. Really?
Yeah.
You couldn't have held it elsewhere?
No. It's all about development.
And for refreshments, we will have baby seal.
Right. Right.
How would you like some albino tiger knuckles as an aperitif?
My goodness. And also, I saw at the state level, I think you wrote this up, Craig, the proposal to raise State Superintendent Mackey's salary.
Yep.
Talk about that for a second while I change things up.
Yeah, well, so the thing that's interesting about that is the 55% or $135,000 raise isn't actually that much. The problem is we don't know how much he makes right now. That's that. You think that would be publicly available. We don't know what his salary is. We know how much he got paid in 2024, which was like $312 and change.
Okay.
But that includes his salary, his housing allowance, reimbursement for phone, tablet, laptop, car. Well, he has a car, so I don't know if he gets a fuel allowance. I don't think he does. But so it's all caught up in this. So I can see his gross pay, which was, like I said, the like 315, 314, something like that number. But his contract, whenever he signed up in 2018, that 3-year contract that kept getting automatically extended, was for $245,000, and his new one is for $380,000. So that is a $135,000. It's always great whenever someone's raise is bigger than your actual salary.
Well, let me ask you this. So we must be doing great with education, right? I mean,
terrific.
Type thing.
Oh yeah, we're not 47th in the world at anything.
Right.
Our kids are totally literate,
Yeah. By the way, what you just said hit me right between the eyes. When somebody's raise is more than your actual salary, I'm certainly in that boat.
Yeah.
Like that.
I think it's impolite to talk about your salary in a forum like this, but I think people probably assume that I didn't make over $135,000. But yeah, Oh, trust me, I swear, I'm in the wrong business. Be a superintendent, a state superintendent, and there's local. The reason that they're doing it, they said, one of the reasons at least, was because there were some local superintendents that were making more than Eric Mackey does currently right now, and that was involved in the Mobile. Both of them, both of those superintendents made over $300,000. Wow! And this is a state that spends nearly $10 billion a year in education, and
split up.
I don't know. It's infuriating because people talk about we need more money in education. It's like how much more? Right. Like, is 10 billion really not enough for you? That's the GDP of like a number of European countries. Like, you could probably $10 billion for a state to poorly educate children. And so I mean, I guess that's the biggest question is like, do you really give out raises because other people got raises, or do you give out raises because your job performance indicates that? Right. And again, I'm sorry, in a state where our overtime tax is about to expire. These are other tax cuts that are coming that are going to help mainly old folk. Coming, people are struggling, and I think they take it as an offense.
It is. It should be.
Yeah, I think they take it personally offensive that their money that $135,000 of their money is going to go to a state bureaucrat. It's unfortunate.
With mediocre at best results.
It's not even mediocre. I mean, again, Dr. Mackey is a perfectly pleasant gentleman, and he's by all accounts he's good at what he does, especially because he's had to do multiple school takeovers, and they've seemed relatively successful. But you're literally, it's not mediocre, it's bad. 47th in education is bad.
Oh, I thought you were being sarcastic. We are 47th.
Yeah, no, we are.
Wow.
But last I checked, and again, it's like, we were lucky they did this whole boasting thing about how our reading or math scores went
they went up.
They went up beyond equal to pre-pandemic levels, and no other state did that. It's like, well, we were starting at a pretty low bar in the first place, so I wouldn't exactly break out the pom-poms. Right. And again, I don't think that Dr. Mackey is a bad person, but the question is, in a state where all of a sudden people are warning about budget cuts and budget shrinkage coming up recently, and then to see something like this in just one office. Yeah. Not even mentioning the fact that there are other two local superintendents making $300,000+ a year.
Doesn't that just raise the bar again, though, when contract comes back around again for everybody else? Well, hey, this guy's getting this.
And he gets a 3% annual raise, and 3% of $380,000 is not insignificant.
No, I know me.
Who cares though? It's other people's money. I mean, it's like this is. And plus, once you cross that threshold from private enterprise and wage earning in the private sector, and you cross that threshold in the public sector, all of the problems you might ascribe to the private sector, like greed and like backslapping and back scratching, and nepotism and scheming and overcharging people for services that really aren't worth that. All that just goes away because you're a public servant.
Yeah,
you're a wonderful person. You're not self-interested at all. You're only interested in the public interest.
And again, it's anytime I walk through like a school or anything for one event or another, I would never send my kids there. I'd sooner see myself at the end of a noose. But I'm just walking through, just like I was walking through the State Department of Education yesterday, and I'm just like looking around. It's like I'm in one room, and there are 3 80-inch flat screen TVs on each wall. And I'm just like, I see things and I see dollar signs.
Yep.
And again, it just reminded me of the reporting that I did last year about homegrown Elmore County, the child nutrition program, who was just spending money like it was coming out of her proverbial bottom, and buying TVs and stuff to cater her daughter's wedding and stuff like that. Right. And there's been no legal repercussions for that. So
really,
no, there's been none because that is seen as like normal. That's not. Anytime you look at government spending, especially the smaller you get, the more corruption you see. And again, it's this giant bureaucracy, and they don't have the manpower or staff to go after situations like that where someone spent a couple $1,000s on personal stuff. That's small potatoes. Now if you start getting into the millions and wasting and spending millions, well, I mean, even not even that. Mackey said yesterday that they're taking over Selma City School, or excuse me, Houston County schools, not Selma City schools, because they had, I cannot remember the number. I got to write this story later. I think it was $12 million of unaccounted money that they just don't know where it went. that it was federal money, and the feds are coming back looking like, hey, where's the freaking money? They said it was unapproved. He said he's very specifically wouldn't give examples or details, I should say. But he said it doesn't mean that there's fraud. It doesn't mean that there's someone went in there and took the money. It just means that they can't find it. I'm like, I don't care.
Wow.
If I give you my car and you're like, I don't know what happened to your car. It disappeared. But I promise I didn't steal it. I don't give a Frenchman's fornication.
Right.
I want my car.
Right.
And so it's just anywhere you look, there is this kind of fraud. Everyone uses the sort of triquetra that we have now in the age of Doge of fraud, waste, and abuse. But
triquetra.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I don't even know that word. I kind of get what it means.
You know, it's this Christian symbol of the Trinity. You know, with the three. So I guess you'd say the three-pronged description of government spending, where it's, you know, fraud, waste, and abuse. Fraud, waste, and abuse. You hear it everywhere now. But that's everywhere in government, state, local, and federal.
And it was very popular with Democrats all the way back in 2010. And again, folks, we do have a lot coming up. I'm actually in a great mood today. And I was annoyed there at the beginning because I had this vision on how the show would start. But you know what? Just because my plans were a bit annoyed, I'm going to soldier on. Because with all this stuff going on at the federal level, the state level, some happy and wonderful news, some absurd, like removing the rainforest for a climate summit. Oh, we'll also get into Bill de Blasio saying we weren't lying or being lied to. Yeah. We are just engaged in magical thinking. Magical thinking when it came to Biden's mental acuity. We'll get to all that, but first we need to focus very local. We need to focus in Montgomery, Alabama. All right. I'm going to read just direct. I posted it on Facebook. This is the work of WAKA here in Montgomery. Montgomery, Alabama. A Montgomery business owner was robbed at gunpoint in his office downtown Monday night after being assaulted and tied up by 4 masked men, whose photos are now available, some security footage from the building. It's on WAKA's website. Good. But they're very masked up. It's kind of hard to tell who it is. Jim Massey, owner of one of Montgomery's oldest and most trusted businesses, said he is thankful to be alive after the terrifying ordeal. Massey was alone in his office around 6 p.m. when he heard a loud crash. As he stepped out to investigate, he was confronted by a man rushing down the hallway. This guy comes walking fast, jogging down the hallway, and said, "We've accidentally run a car into your front door," Massey said. But then he got closer. I realized he had on a mask, goggles, and a hat. And about that time, there was a second one behind him. They both grabbed me, and behind them were 2 more guys. They said, "Let's go to the safe. Take us to the safe." And I said, okay. They had a gun. There were 4 of them. I did not have a gun, probably, thank goodness. The suspects were wearing hard hats and reflective construction vests, Massey said. He told them the combination to the safe was stored on his phone in his office. He just reared back, and that's where this came from, Massey said, pointing to a swollen black and blue eye. He chipped my tooth and cut my chin. I was standing upright, and the guy was holding my arms up. When he hit me, I fell down, but the guy holding my arms kind of kept me up. So then I'm in a squatted position trying to figure out what the heck just happened. And as I'm kind of half kneeling, he puts the gun on top of my head and said, "If you don't tell us the combination, I'm going to blow your blankety-blank head off. And I'll do it." My life didn't flash before my eyes, says Jim Massey, but my wife and 2 kids. They were the 3 people that came to mind. After finally bringing Massey his phone, the suspects forced him to unlock the safe. They emptied it, zip-tied his feet, in addition to his already zip-tied hands, and took his car keys before fleeing the scene. The entire incident lasted only 6 or 7 minutes. He zip-tied my feet real tight and then asked for my car keys, Massey said. I pointed to where they were. They got the car keys. They still had my phone, and they took off. I hopped over to my desk where I keep a pocket knife, and I cut the zip tie off my feet and called the police. I think people need to realize, because I sure did, that it can happen to anybody, anywhere. Massey said the outpouring of love and concern for from his 85 employees and the community has been overwhelming. Thank goodness I'm here, he said. Massey's car was found abandoned 3 blocks from his office several hours after the robbery. As of Thursday, no arrests have been made, and I believe none yet still, here on Friday. And the Montgomery Police Department said the case remains under investigation. You know, y'all know me. You two know me pretty well at this point. I could, if I put it in kind of a rude way, I can be a bit of a narcissist, or just in my own world, pulled back. Like, I could drive around Montgomery and not notice a lot of things. But there are some brands and some fixtures of this community that everybody knows, even closed off, inward-seeking narcissists like me. And Jim Massey, his company's one of them. You know, maybe Montgomery doesn't need to be run like a small town anymore. Maybe it is time to really try to compete with the mid-level cities like Chattanooga and Greenville. But it seems we're losing our small town character a lot faster than any of the benefits of becoming a bigger city ever materialized. This man and his family are a fixture in this community. And he is pistol whipped and had a gun put to his head. I don't want, in particular, the mayor of this city to be Emery Fulmer. I want Stephen Reed to be Stephen Reed. It's your city, sir. Take it back. Run these streets. They're yours. You were elected to that position. We've been through how many police chiefs now? 2? How many hundreds of officers are we down? Oh, we accomplished so much with the whole Black Lives Matter thing. Again, hundreds of officers down, 2 police chiefs later. You fired a guy who was Officer of the Year for putting on a chokehold that hurt nobody.
Have you seen the fountain downtown?
One with crapper on it?
Yeah.
And Jim Massey's just one of these stories. Daddy's like 4 more shots.
Yeah.
Police chief has a heck of a job in front of him. The new, now full-time chief, Jim Grayboy. What the heck are we doing? If you can't get these basic things right, if an institution in this city isn't safe to have a shop downtown, which should be the crown jewel of the city, downtown. A lot of plans, a lot of money, I'm sure, already in the works. Some I even know about, to invest all over this area and expand it and make it better. But who wants to put their name up on a shingle and try to build a legacy and a life if this is what happens? You could say, oh, we're doing the best we can. We gave raises and stuff. It's not good enough yet. And again, what I'm worried about is maybe it's time for Montgomery not to be run like a small town, but we're losing something in the process. Two 272-9228 if you want to get it on the conversation. I'm glad Massey's all right.
Yeah.
I really, he easily could have been killed. And again, there are a lot of people in this city who have been robbed, assaulted, threatened, and yes, killed. We maybe don't have names as big as Jim Massey. They're still part of what was in old Montgomery, which is now dead. When is new Montgomery going to take its city back so we can actually build something awesome here for everybody? Truly unconscionable. Again, photos have been released. You can go to WAKA, was that Alabama News Network, their website has the photos from the surveillance cameras. I'm sure any tips would be appreciated. From my just quick glance at the photos, it's not they're not easily identifiable. I mean, for a second, I'm like, is that? No, that's not Eddie's gate.
Nope.
Yeah, it is weird that they were all in construction attire. That's not
Right.
That I mean, that's not just like a.
Well, they've clearly done something like this before.
Yeah.
Downtown's full of cameras. If they follow that car around, I'm sure they should see some things.
Oh, it's actually very smart. I mean, it's kind of like if you're going to do a crime, it's good to do it in a work-looking
Oh,
van. If you're in a vehicle and you're dressed and you got reflective vests and hard hats on, cops are typically like that. Work.
Yeah, nobody's going to think anything of it. It was about 6 p.m. And honestly, I've been downtown more often than I usually have lately for all sorts of reasons. And it's pretty quiet at night, especially around that area. I guess that's right off the exit on the interstate on Union Street.
Are people wanting to go out at night in Montgomery?
They want to, but last night they had 4 people shot.
And maybe I should feel more unsafe. I genuinely believe, like when I try to go to a nice restaurant in Cloverdale, or go to Central, or go to Ravello, or go to Zaza downtown, or whatever, that I don't think anything of it. I've lived here my whole life. I know downtown used to be much worse. The development has gone well. I, again, hope the best for the plans going ahead. But we're not getting the fundamentals right. It's pretty simple. We want clean, safe streets for everybody, whether they're a big name and a big brand in this city, or they're a young kid with a hope who gets screwed up because parents don't know better, and you got kids having kids. Of course, in other news, trying to shift gears, the governor issued an emergency proclamation for all 67 counties with the weather coming in this weekend. In particular, should be a little rough tonight, but Saturday night is what in particular Rich Thomas is most worried about.
Yep. So
keep your head on a swivel there. And we don't want to tempt fate. Though I'm starting to think the world is tempting fate, because one thing, I always look at what's trending on X. Of course, this local story was top of mind, what I wanted to begin with. Pardon the rant. But as I'm looking at trending on X, I see Christ is King is trending again. Like, why? All of a sudden, everybody become really, devout? No, it's an argument over, is it being used as sort of a proxy of shut up Jew, or is it actual statement of belief? And there's a big argument about woke right and blah, 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 blah. You're all full of crap. But right next to Christ is King, I see in all caps trending, charge them hoes a fee. And I thought to myself, well, I got a feeling whether it's Christ is King trending on this website or charge them a hoes a fee, both of those phrases are mostly said in vain on Twitter. Though sometimes I guess charge them hoes a fee can be said ironically.
Sure.
But what a weird world we live in, where you do have folks groping for the traditional, groping for a foundation man himself did not make. Some, in my opinion, doing it quite badly, going down rabbit holes that I think divert from the point of that mission. But as you have folks hoping for those foundations man himself didn't make and trying to rebuild it in their own lives piece by piece and spread that to others, well, it's going to be probably a top 10, if not #1 song, Charge Them Hoes a Fee. So we still got a lot of work to do. Still got a lot of work to do. 272-9228. This sign of the times, man.
Yes, sir.
Sign of the times. How about this? Let me hit a break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. You need to save their number.
Yeah.
Because after what happens this weekend, maybe you're fine. You're fine. You don't see any major damage, but you heard a lot of bumps in the middle of the night.
Right.
You see some fallen branches and debris all over the place. You're like, man, I don't want to climb up on the roof. Plus, if you get your big butt up there, I mean, maybe you're in great shape. Good for you. Nobody likes a braggart. But say you get your big butt up there, what are you even looking for? Unless it's an obvious, like there's a hole there. There's a tree on the roof. I think we got a problem. No, but if it's not obvious and you're worried, oh, I wonder how the roof held up. You need to call up River Region Contracting. Go ahead and save their number at 356-8635. That's 356-8635. Whether it's an asphalt or a metal roof, should be inspected on a regular basis. And the great news there is when you work with them, their inspections are always free.
Yeah. And why would you get on the roof when somebody will come do it for you for free?
And they actually pros know what to look for. Like problems you ain't going to see.
No.
And of course, their estimates, if they find a problem, they'll write one of those up for free.
That's right.
And they're insurance specialists. So if they do find a problem, that big old roof, well, they'll help work with your insurance company, work and fight on your behalf in that claims process to make it a swift and easy experience. So check them out today. Again, that number, go ahead and save it with this weekend coming up. 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell Todd Clark and the great team there at River Region Contracting that Joey and Eddie and Craig, those fellas on the radio, sent you. We'll be right back.
Hey, Robert. Okay.
Huh? For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, from the moment we pick up the phone, you will hear the difference.
Well, I intended that to be a little smoother, but technical issue.
Good. You're too hard on yourself. You're like Sam. Calls up here, feels like, oh, that was stupid. I just said something stupid. I know you weren't.
No, it's more like I really did have a vision of how I was going to do this. I was going to do the rundown of the headlines, coming into the music, and there is a lot of stupid fun stuff today, and then start with that. Apparently the camera was not hooked up correctly, and I didn't even have the live stream pulled up by the time we started trying to fix it.
Someone commented and said that YouTube audio is funky.
It's not just a slogan, call Alabama Home Mortgage, because folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies.
And Jim Massey's just one of these stories.
Yeah.
He's like 4 more shots.
You hear that?
Yeah, I see why. He has a heck of a job. Now full-time kids.
1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Is your business feeling the heat of cyber attacks? Tired of worrying about ransomware, data breaches, downtime, and employee mistakes? GTI Managed IT Solutions has been your trusted partner since 1999, safeguarding and supporting businesses like yours from the ever-evolving threats in the digital world. GTI, your peace of mind is guaranteed. Call us today at 819-4050 or visit gtinow.com.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Earnest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Earnest, 334-279-7431. Earnest Financial, LLC.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Kind of the calm before the storm today with limited sunshine, very warm for March, high 82. Tonight, dry through the evening hours, but late tonight in the overnight hours, we could see some strong storms, possibly severe. Can't rule out a tornado. That should be over by morning. Then breezy, warm, high 81 Saturday, with the main event coming later on Saturday afternoon and Saturday night, with showers and storms becoming likely, some severe. All modes of severe weather, including damaging winds, large hail, and a rather significant tornado threat. There could be some strong tornadoes as well. In the wee hours of the morning, that'll move out on Sunday early, then mostly sunny later on Sunday with a high near 70. Our weather app will keep you on top of the action. It's free in the App Store. Just search Rich Thomas Weather. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has digital banking solutions to help you keep up. Check balances, pay bills, and much more. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
Live local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. So Chuck Schumer did cave on the whole government shutdown thing. Is anybody surprised by that?
Nah, not at all.
Because it very clearly and slowly dawned on the Democrats, wait, if we shut this down, then OMB, which is the real, I think, arm of Doge that actually is able to work with cabinet heads and the president himself to implement all these, say, fires or pauses on hiring, yada, yada, yada. Wait, if we shut the government down, that just empowers OMB even more. How? Well, they can't spend new money. They can't necessarily withhold funds, but again, it's a shutdown, so you don't technically have the funds.
Right.
It empowers OMB to define who is or is not essential government work. And it's been defined in different ways over all the shutdowns over all the years, whether it was Clinton or Bush or Obama or Trump. Every OMB in that particular year it was shut down have defined necessary or essential government employees differently. I had a feeling if they shut this thing down, the Republicans be like, all right, it's probably going to stay shut down until y'all pass what we wanted. And at this point, OMB is going to find what's essential in federal work, essentially along the lines of what Doge wants. So they balked at that. But of course, those that are just yapping, they're quite upset. I mean, do we think this woman I'm pulling up on the screen here, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, is the future of the Democratic Party? I mean, she's got the following online.
No. I don't think she is.
You don't think she is? Craig, do you think she's the future of the Democratic Party?
I hope so, just for the entertainment value.
Well, after it came out that Schumer caved, here's AOC. Somebody ran and put a camera and microphone in her face.
I think there is a deep sense of outrage and betrayal. And this is not just about progressive Democrats. This is across the board, the entire party. There are members of Congress who have won Trump-held districts in some of the most difficult territory in the United States, who walked the plank and took innumerable risks in order to defend the American people, in order to defend Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare. You know, just to see Senate Democrats even consider acquiescing to Elon Musk, I think it is a huge slap in the face, and I think that there's a wide sense of betrayal if things proceed as currently planned.
How will House Democrats and Senate Democrats work together now if there is such a sense of betrayal?
I think that creates a real challenge.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That in and of itself, I think, is part of what makes the leadership of this moment so crucial, because this is a decision about trust. It is a decision about trust and cooperation, because there will be a day where the Senate will need the House to move on something. And if there is an erosion of trust and a breach of trust, such as what is being considered right now, it will make cooperation difficult.
Oh, no. Cooperation between Democrats in both chambers. It's going to make it difficult and everybody feels betrayed. Oh, no.
Just another Tuesday.
Oh, well, if y'all just would charge them hoes a fee, you might actually get something done in the Democratic Party, but y'all letting them get away with stuff for free.
And she really does look like the inside of her head is like constantly playing that. She's the type of chick that would key your car because like your mother texted you too late. She is psycho.
I mean, that sort of psycho I never want to have to deal with.
Oh, you like to deal with all the psychos.
No, but I've dealt with some crazy where I had a lady, I'll call her that, a lady, threatened to slash the tires on my car, but she didn't mean with like a knife. Like I walk out and it's like just a knife sticking out. She was going to print out pictures of the guitarist Slash and tape them on my tires.
That's a great prank.
I was kind of like, man, dadgummit, you're crazy, but that's kind of also adorable.
Have we actually figured out what race Slash is? Like
I think he's Jewish, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he looks like he could be black, looks like he could be Hispanic, looks like he could be like Middle Eastern, he could be Native American. He fits all of them.
Wasn't his mom the? No, that was Lenny Kravitz.
Lenny Kravitz. By the way, what the heck is that guy?
Slash's real name, ready for it?
Yeah.
Saul Hudson.
Mr. Hudson.
What's up, Saul? You gonna play guitar solo for us? I see why he changed his name.
I kind of see why he went with Slash.
Yeah. Yeah. I miss when rock stars used pseudonyms. It's great.
Yeah, but I mean, who's gonna take over the Democratic Party? Because I know Gavin Newsom's
trying.
He's trying. He had him Charlie Kirk, and then had on Steve Bannon, and he kind of got. I thought he sort of got embarrassed on his own show in those conversations.
Right.
So I don't. Newsom almost wants it too much. He is like that. The desperation.
American
you
Psycho,
can just,
man.
Yes.
That's all I see is American Psycho.
Actually, that might play, though. If Newsom starts coming out to Huey Lewis and the News at all his rallies, that might actually be like, all right, this guy's up to something
He's not
clever.
that cool.
I want to fit in.
Yeah, right.
I need to return some videotapes. But so if it's not going to be
cranberry juice, cranberry apple.
If it's not going to be Newsom, do you think who's the governor of New York? Not Chris Cuomo's older brother. Governor Cuomo?
Yeah, no.
But he's now running for mayor of New York City again. He's trying to make his comeback.
COVID killed any chance he has of reaching the big stage. And also those pesky sexual harassment.
Oh, that's right.
Well, but I do it with everybody.
Yeah.
I do it with everybody, he said.
Doesn't make it any less creepy.
Isn't that what he said at the time?
Yeah.
Actually, I think I have the clip saved.
What's
here.
a smack on the tushy between friends?
Yeah, it's like a little kiss here, a little grab.
Yeah.
Like get that thing.
Yeah.
And
there was a bee. There was a bee on her posterior. It would be impolite to leave it there.
I do it with everyone.
Yeah.
Black and white.
Right.
Young and old. Straight and LGBTQ.
Does with everybody.
Powerful people.
Incapacitated
Friends.
people.
Strangers. People who I meet on the street.
Homeless.
Not creepy at all.
So it's probably not going to be that guy. But what about another former New York mayor New York City mayor? Remember that guy during COVID? What was his name? Bill de Blasio. Well, Bill de Blasio was on Fox News yesterday. Again, like, let's go on the right-wing media thing and let's try to be, reasonable and mea culpa and be like, yep, we did things so wrong. Well, this is the worst way to do that because this is the worst guy in the world. He's the worst guy in the world. Remember he killed a groundhog?
It bit him.
I don't know if it did. I saw the video this morning. I did my research. I think it wriggled out of his hands.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he had the protective gloves
That's
too.
what I didn't understand. He had the gloves.
But here's de Blasio being asked about it, because I think the problem with the Democratic Party is not just like policy, which they're losing big time, as we covered last week on the whole transgender thing. It's an 80-20 issue, but it's not just about the popularity or dislike of that agenda. You're now seeing the harm from meta studies covering hundreds of thousands of patients, so-called. I think we landed on the word butchery last week, didn't we, Craig?
Yep.
So it's not just the issues, though. It's the way you went about doing things and how you got Biden in place. And I think there are a lot of folks who woke up, for lack of a better term, to that problem. So Bill de Blasio's asked about this because he was right there in the thick of it, right? He's mayor in the middle of COVID. And, well, listen to this. This might be, by the way, gentlemen, a great excuse if you're ever caught by your wife.
Do you think President Biden was up to the job mentally?
I'm going to be confessional here, Dana.
Confessional.
I'm like so many other Democrats wanted to believe.
Yeah.
And we were wrong.
Wrong.
And we should have been more critical.
Do you think you were lied to?
I don't think I was lied to. I think it was magical thinking. We wanted to believe what we wanted to believe.
We weren't lied to. We weren't lying. We were just engaged in magical thinking.
Because they're rubes. Just a bunch of rubes.
Which is kind of fair enough, though, because it's honestly impossible to know the difference, whether it was dishonesty or complete delusion. It's almost like, like a Bernie Madoff apologizing after he gets called. It's like he might be sincere, but it really doesn't matter, does it?
Right.
I'm like so many other Democrats wanted to believe. And we were wrong. And we should have been more critical.
Do you think you were lied to?
I don't think I was lied to. I think it was magical thinking.
Which means that like they weren't even hiding how decrepit he was. We just refused to believe what our eyes saw and our ears heard.
Well,
but trust us to run the government. BTW.
Why do you smell like another woman's perfume? Is that lipstick on your collar? No, honey, it's just magic. Like, it's really? And I guess there are some people that live in denial. You could call that magical thinking, or everything is aspirational as magical thinking. But I love that magical thinking is the excuse for a huge, big lie. Quite a big lie. So I don't know. I think they're lost in the wilderness. I have not yet seen anybody rise up.
Stephen A. Smith?
If Stephen A. ran as a Democrat, maybe so.
Keeps hinting around.
I like Stephen A.
Well, the problem is they've spent the past several years alienating the centrists in the party. And
I think you could bring him back if they thought he had a chance to win.
Well, see, the thing is, I don't think they spent so much time smearing and ignoring the sort of old guy, the establishment people that were in there now. I think what they're going to have to do is wait for midterm season, and then spend the next 2 years after that really building up like a 35 to 40-year-old gentleman, more than likely, who's very austere, steers away from the trans insanity, steers away from all the culture war stuff, and kind of just hits what Democrats have, what has traditionally worked for Democrats. But I think it's gonna have to be a brand new face that they put a lot of money into getting name recognition and face recognition out there. To me, that's their only chance.
I mean, maybe we need to give this guy a second thought, because here's the footage of him dropping the groundhog. It's not Puxatawny Phil. It is Staten Island Chuck.
The animal squirmed out of the mayor's grip in front of dozens of shocked school children.
Oh, dude!
A week later, the rodent died of internal injuries.
Someone take a little 4-foot fall.
Someone needs to Puxatawny chill. Am I
right? Then several years later, in a New York magazine interview, somebody asked de Blasio, on a lighter but more tragic note. That doesn't make any sense. On a lighter but more tragic note, do you have any regrets about dropping the groundhog, Staten Island Chuck, in 2014? De Blasio, yeah, 100%. I'm like, don't make me hold the effing groundhog. I mean, what the hell? Let me tell you exactly what happened, please. I go there, and it's 7 a.m, which means my motor skills are not at their best.
Oh, good Lord.
Magical thinking. I put on these gloves, and they're like, here's a groundhog. I'm like, what the F? I'm like, don't you have a little more coaching to go with this or whatever? It was idiocy. Why would you want an elected official to hold a groundhog? I don't know anything about holding groundhogs. So the whole thing is just insane. There's an original sin here. Don't hand someone a groundhog, right? That sounds like the name of a children's book, says the interviewer. Only trained groundhog holders. And do you squeeze it really tight? I mean, what do you do? So I'm like, talk about a lack of advance work. Yeah, that guy's not the future of any party. Wow. So we're going to continue to search far and wide for the next leader of the Democratic Party. We have yet to find them. 272-9228. I got to hit another quick break here. But first, this part of the program brought to you by, we'll talk to Ray Bowles a little later in the show, but It's brought to you by Prattville Carpet. And their Prattville Carpet, they can travel to you. Just give them a call at 285-8117. They'll come to you, free in-home measurement. And depending on what product you want to use to resurface, of course, they have great carpet options, really great carpet options. Or it could be you want to do a backsplash or resurface the countertops with ceramic tile or stuff in the bathroom with that. Or they have great traditional hardwood products, the luxury vinyl plank that often mimics traditional hardwood, but it's a little more forgiving. Especially if you got kids and dogs or you're prone to spilling stuff, that can work out much better. Much better.
Happens, Joey.
Yeah, you probably don't want the dog to make a big old mess on your traditional hardwood. I'll put it that way.
No.
And then they've got these new epoxy floors. You were singing the praises of yesterday.
They look beautiful, man. Absolutely beautiful. Incredibly durable.
So if y'all are looking to get a great job done, resurfacing the floors, countertops, backsplash, call up Prattville Carpet today. Again, 285-8117. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hello there. This is Dr. Sam, account executive with Blue Water Broadcasting. Why should you advertise with us? Well, radio is the #1 reach medium, and it's everywhere, in cars, offices, homes, gyms, and even in stores. Radio advertising can efficiently get your message across to a large number of people. Contact me, Dr. Sam, by going to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
Alabama weather will never fail to surprise you. Our lawns hardly get a chance to have any downtime. And as usual, it's already time to start getting ready for spring. This year, save the hard work and aggravation and call Alabama Lawns, the River Region's leader in weed control and fertilization services. What makes Alabama Lawns the River Region's best? It's the people. They have the experience, education, and commitment to customer satisfaction. Ask your neighbors. Alabama Lawns has been the Montgomery Advertiser's Reader's Choice Award winner 13 years in a row. The Alabama Lawn staff is made up of long-term employees and agronomy graduates, and the staff at Alabama Lawns attend annual continuing education classes. It pays to have someone that knows southern grass types and how to keep them green and flourishing. Call Alabama Lawns today at 272-7171 and let them show you real value in a lawn maintenance service. Alabama Lawns, the company with black trucks and green lawns. 272-7171.
Hello, I'm Mr. Ben. If your vehicle has seen better days, fear not, help is on the way. Mr. Ben's Auto Spa Express has added a professional detail shop. Specialized techniques and products are used to get your vehicle back to showroom shape. Hand washing, waxing, stain removal, odor removal, shampooing, minor scratch removal, and more. Mr. Ben's Auto Spa Express, next to Fraser Church on the Atlanta Highway. Come by for a free estimate. Look like you've been to Mr. Ben's.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1. WACV. News Talk 93.1.
This part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage, and they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you whether you're looking to purchase a home, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. They can walk you through that process from pre-approval all the way to closing day. Or maybe it's not your first rodeo, but you want folks that are local that you can trust that are going to get you the best possible deal, especially if you're a veteran and you're looking to take advantage of the VA home loan programs, those benefits you earn through your service. You might think, oh, I already used them, or somebody else told me I didn't qualify. No. Go talk to Kim and Madeline there at Alabama Home Mortgage and get the real story. And, of course, they can also help you with a great refinance deal to get credit card debt off your back, or maybe you just want to lower your overall overhead. We just recently had a listener who's a veteran, and they saved him $400 a month.
$400, man.
Which is pretty fantastic, and they got it done within like 2 weeks. Pretty amazing. It could be a quick turnaround to get you on a more sound financial footing. So y'all call up Kim and Madeline today. It all starts with a conversation at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. We got plenty coming up. Let's go to Gary real quick. Hey, Gary.
Oh, hey, Joey. I just wanted to say that Montgomery, everything about Montgomery is not gloom and doom.
I agree.
And I just want to give you an example. I'm a longtime resident of the Seth Johnson area. That's south of the bypass, in between their lane and North Bridge Road. Our neighborhood, 4 years ago, and many a year before that, it was horrible. Gunshots constantly, all day and night. It was really bad. About a year and a half ago, and don't ask me why this is, but it is the God's truth. Our neighborhood has become a very nice area to live in again.
You're here. Well, I love hearing that. And I think that's around the time the whole Montgomery Area Crime Suppression Unit got started. And
No, this was well before that, Joey.
You said a year and a half ago?
Easily, maybe 2 years ago. The crime suppression unit started, 6 months ago?
I think before that.
Oh, okay. I'm not up to date on the dates on all of that, but for whatever reason, it has become a very nice neighborhood to live in again.
Well, that's fantastic. No, and Montgomery is primed to do a lot of great things and have quality of life. It's just these sorts of stories that struck this morning about Jim Massey. It's awful.
That's horrible. That is absolutely horrible. Not to make light of it, but to me, the first thing I thought of when you were talking about the description of the
perpetrators,
for lack of a better word, I immediately thought, first thought that come to my mind were the village people in Montgomery.
Well, I think
we know where those guys were. Sorry, it's not funny, but to me, that was my first thought.
Oh, no, I have those same sort of thoughts, too. I appreciate the call, Gary. Really do.
Sure thing. Thank you, Joey.
Let's go to Austin Barranco with Invista Advisors. Hey, Austin, how you doing?
Having a great Friday, Joey. How are you and Eddie?
Oh, we're all right. Craig Monger's here, too. Everybody forgets Craig.
I don't even take offense to it anymore. I'm glad to be your afterthought, Austin. How are you?
Well, normally I'm watching the show, but I've had my hands tied this week. And so when I'm watching the show, I always see you, Craig, and say, hey, but I hadn't watched the show today. So I got to catch up.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's always up there on YouTube. But let's just today kind of give the 101 there with Invista Advisors. Unless there's something with the markets, I guess I'm seeing the markets up that you want to talk about. But it's good to always remind folks exactly what y'all can provide them, because I don't want them walking away thinking, oh, it's just a stock thing. This is bigger than that.
Yeah, no, that's right. And people usually do like to hear about our thoughts on the market. And so I'll give a brief update there. You know, we've had a correction going on now for a little over 2 weeks. We've given back pretty much all of our gains since last September. And there's even been some levels of the S&P around last July that are very close to the numbers we're seeing right now. So, I mean, you're talking about erasing more than a half a year's gains in a very short period of time, which with the way trading works now, most of its algorithms, that can happen. You can have a quick drop. You can also have a quick run up. But we've expected volatility. And, you know, what we do as a group is really anything in the realm of financial services. You know, if you need life insurance, come see us. If you need an estate plan, come see us. If you got a small business that you're looking to buy or sell, come see us. But most of our clients are people who have worked really hard their whole life, saved a lot of money, and are wondering, can I retire? And if I do retire, what does it look like? How much can I spend each month without getting myself into trouble? And so, you know, if you're listening today and thinking about those things, come see us. We'll put a financial plan in place. And then, you know, we do handle the investment side as well. But before we really talk investments, we always try to set a risk tolerance. And so for, you know, the last 2 weeks we've had in the market where, you know, we've lost 6 months worth of gains. If your risk tolerance isn't properly set, it can be a really difficult, you know, emotional time to manage when you see your account dropping so severely. And, you know, what we do here is when we have kind of the initial setup for your plan and your risk tolerance, we make sure that you don't get in an uncomfortable place like that. Hey, if you want to take a ton of risk and you're okay with a 20-30% loss in a short span of time, that's fine. But most people are not. And if you're not, we're going to build a portfolio for you that if the market's down as aggressively as it is right now, we may only be down a few percentage points. And so really, in a nutshell, that's what we provide, Joey. And if you had any other questions, I'm happy to answer those as well.
No, I think that pretty much sums it up. And the number to start the conversation with y'all is still 387-0094.
Yep, that's us. And I'll be back full time on Monday. So give us a call and we're happy to take care of you.
And folks, when you call them up, be sure when you call up 387-0094 to say, hey, I heard Austin Branco on the radio with Joey Clark, and I want to start the conversation.
Yes, and Craig, you specifically have a great weekend.
I appreciate it, Austin.
All right, guys. Bye.
Of course, as soon as he does that, Craig's not in the room.
Yeah.
He just can't win.
Yeah, but we can mess with Craig and say, hey, Austin's talking about you.
Yeah, he said.
Just don't say nothing.
Yeah, he said bye. And
No, he's just talking about you.
Anyway, let's reset here. We'll be right back. Second hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Congress poised to pass a President Trump-endorsed funding bill. The GOP drafted stopgap funding bill would keep the federal government running past a Friday night shutdown deadline at largely fiscal 2024 levels. President Trump speaks at the Justice Department today. The president expected to use his visit to deliver a speech outlining his administration's tough-on-crime agenda. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy has agreed to cut 10,000 workers and billions of dollars from the U.S. Postal Service budget. He'll do that by working with Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. Former central banker Mark Carney sworn in as Canada's new prime minister. Carney will replace Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. On Wall Street, the Dow had 593 points, the NASDAQ up 382. This is SRN News.
Celebrate twice as much with NordVPN's birthday deal. Get 72% off and a coupon for up to 1 year free. Visit NordVPN and discover the benefits. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. Encrypt your online traffic. Reduce the risk of phishing, scams, and malware with NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro. Get the special birthday deal at NordVPN.com. Additional terms apply. NordVPN.
Hi, this is Rhett Rasmussen of BestHotGrill.com. We make the amazing Solaire infrared gas grills that are built to last and will consistently deliver better than restaurant grilled food. The Solaire infrared burner heats up to 1,000 degrees in just 3 minutes, even in the dead of winter. The high heat locks in the juices and flavor and grills food faster. Learn more about these fantastic USA-made grills at BestHotGrill.com. Solaire hot, fast grills at BestHotGrill.com.
Rich Thomas Weather, brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, hiring experienced truck drivers right now. They offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, 401k, and per diem. They've been in business since 1959, and they're still growing strong. Call recruiting now at 855-777-9785. Wiley Sanders Truck Line.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Kind of the calm before the storm today with limited sunshine, very warm for March, high 82. Tonight, dry through the evening hours, but late tonight in the overnight hours, we could see some strong storms, possibly severe. Can't rule out a tornado. That should be over by morning. Then breezy, warm, high 81 Saturday, with the main event coming later on Saturday afternoon and Saturday night, with showers and storms becoming likely, some severe. All modes of severe weather, including damaging winds, large hail, and a rather significant tornado threat. There could be some strong tornadoes as well. In the wee hours of the morning, that'll move out on Sunday early, then mostly sunny later on Sunday with a high near 70. Our weather app will keep you on top of the action. It's free in the App Store. Just search Rich Thomas Weather. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. A man is fighting for his life after being shot Thursday night in Montgomery. Police responded to the 4400 block of Troy Highway near the Bell Road intersection just before 7:30, where a man was found suffering from a gunshot wound. The victim, whose name has not yet been released, was transported to an area hospital in critical condition. Suspect and motive unknown. Watauga County Schools is opening 2 schools to use as storm shelters for the upcoming severe weather threat. The new Prattville Kindergarten School and Marbury High School will be open Saturday from 2 until 10 p.m. as community storm shelters. Both schools have reinforced areas to withstand winds exceeding 150 miles per hour. Auburn's Janai Broom has been awarded the highest honor in college basketball as the Sporting News National College Player of the Year. The senior graduate was also a unanimous selection to the publication's All-America First Team. Broom becomes the first player in program history to be named National Player of the Year by any news organization. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Only on the CW.
Live all season.
How you like that, baby?
See NASCAR Xfinity superstars Justin Allgaier, Austin Hill, and Sam Mayer.
Let's go win a championship.
Alongside racing's hungriest up-and-comers.
Whoa! Timbers are flaring. Tell him I'm coming for him. That kid is amazing.
It's the NASCAR Xfinity Series on the CW.
Tune in to the Montgomery CW today with live coverage from Las Vegas Motor Speedway starting at 3 p.m.
Hey guys, this is Todd Clark with River Region Contracting, your premier roofing contractor in Central Alabama. So remember the name, River Region Contracting, for all your roofing needs. We're not affiliated with any other roofing company in the River Region. We've been in the roofing business since 2005. We don't have to buy our leads, and we don't have to knock on doors when the storms come around. We have thousands of satisfied customers throughout Central Alabama. So call us at 334-356-8635. That's 334-356-8635.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Welcome back. I'm Joey, that's Eddie. What's your shirt say there, Eddie?
Bad day to be a Busch Light.
I like that shirt. Back up a little bit so we can... Oh, man, that's glorious right there.
Yep, yep, yep. Speaking the truth.
Absolutely glorious. Craig Monger had to step out for a second. He will be back.
He's
though,
zooming.
Folks. I know.
I
Yeah,
caught him zooming.
he's got a meeting he's got to deal with. Coming up, we do actually... Obama in 2011 announced a Doge project, essentially.
He called it,
and
what
he
did he
put,
call it?
I don't, we'll get to it. I don't remember. It wasn't catchy.
Yeah. I didn't
whereas Doge just sticks in the mind. You just think of that adorable Shiba Inu.
Right.
It's like, how can y'all be so upset?
They are, though.
But he put Joe Biden in charge of it.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so it's amazing. You can find from about 15 years ago, all these Democrats saying all the stuff Doge is wanting to actually do. They just didn't mean it.
Did they even try?
No. And the Republicans better actually be trying. I think Doge is actually trying. I think a lot of Trump is actually trying. I'm a little worried about
who's
the
got
Congress.
his back.
Yeah. They're all mercenary for their donors and their districts back home. It's that sort of mentality that holds off the future. Again, one of my biggest takeaways from that Elon Musk biography I'm working through. Check it out, folks. The Walter Isaacson biography on Musk is fantastic. Listen to the audiobook. At one point, when Obama's considering we're going to rely on commercial spacecraft for most of what we want to do, putting satellites in orbit, getting people to and from the International Space Station, and so he leaned into that. Here's a big contest for a big $1.6 billion contract. SpaceX wins it. Richard Shelby at the time said, it's the end of American supremacy in space. It's like, no, it's just the gravy train you built is much better at drinking down gravy than it is actually getting rockets on cheap into space and taking risks.
Yep.
That said, let's go to Soldier Boy. Hey, Soldier Boy.
What up, Soldier Boy?
Or no, he just dropped.
Soldier Boy.
Oh, my goodness.
I wonder if it's the phone. It did a little number on me earlier, too.
Yeah, Sky said there weren't a lot of calls today. What's going on? There's some, it's like the electronics are haunted.
Something in the air, man.
They're
well, you had the blood moon last night. You probably didn't stick around for that.
The blood moon?
Yeah, it was like a red moon. Yeah, blood moon.
Blood
like
moon.
Eclipse. It was beautiful. About 11 o'clock. I stayed up for it, just specifically for it. But it was one of those things where I stayed up for it. I hyped it up. And I went outside and All right, I'm going to bed now.
So just to kind of remind folks, let's just go into what we were talking about. This is Barack Obama, I believe, all the way back in 2011. And he announces essentially a Doge department and puts Joe Biden in charge of it, saying nobody messes with Joe.
Oh, yeah.
I got that right.
I got hairy legs.
Let's listen in. Blast from the past from about 14, 15 years ago.
Deficit will require some tough decisions.
Yeah.
And that includes cutting back on billions of dollars in programs that a lot of people care about. But what should be easy is getting rid of the pointless waste and stupid spending that doesn't benefit anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Waste we should be getting rid of, even if we didn't have a deficit. Sure, some of these cuts aren't that big.
Right.
But no amount of waste is acceptable. Not when it's your money. Not at a time when so many Americans are already cutting back. Just as families are living within their means, government should too. Did you know the federal government pays for a website devoted to a folk music ensemble made up of forest rangers? They're called the Fiddlin' Foresters.
I follow
I'll
them on
put their
TikTok.
music on my...
Wait, you follow the Fiddlin'
I'm just
Foresters?
I'm just kidding. But that does look like something that'd be on TikTok, not on a government payroll.
See, sometimes I think you're Kenny Powers.
Oh.
Like, by the way, I tried to rewatch that. We were watching Danny McBride on Theo Vaughn's podcast.
Yes.
I'm like, because my we've been watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. He finds that very
Love
funny.
it.
But I tried the first episode of Eastbound and Down, and I hadn't seen it.
For him, man.
Well, no, and I knew he probably wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I want to see if this holds up. First episode, I'm like, I don't think it does.
I suggest
It's almost like I'll try Righteous Gemstones.
telling you.
I know the last season just came out.
Making
But
me get HBO.
it does seem like, a lot of comedy just doesn't age well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It felt like, I'm back in freshman year in college and
So instead
we've
of it,
moved on from this.
instead of it being funny, do you find it more cringy?
No, there were parts that were certainly funny as heck. I mean, in that first episode when he gets on the jet ski and all, I mean, that's still iconic. But yeah, a lot of it's more like, what? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a little cringy. Anyway.
No, I get it.
Now I've lost my train of thought. Oh, well. No, I think of you mostly as Eastbound and Down, Kenny Powers. But sometimes, let's go back a little bit. What is it?
Forest Rangers. They're called the Fiddlin' Foresters.
I could see you just riding on your boat on Lake Jordan with a bush light in your hand, and you got the Fiddlin' Foresters going on the
tune. I
JBL
gotta be honest,
Bluetooth
Joey,
speaker.
that's kind of catchy.
Anyway, Obama continues.
I'll put their music on my iPod, but I'm not paying for their website. And there are hundreds of similar sites.
No, you lie. Not to sound like that guy at the State of the Union, but Obama had the Fiddlin' Foresters on his iPod.
I gotta say BS on that one, Joey. I really gotta say BS on that one.
Anyway, let's keep going.
That we should consolidate or just get rid of. By the way, you're not only paying for websites no one needs, you're paying for thousands of buildings all across the country no one uses.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
For the last decade, the government's owned a massive and completely empty warehouse in the middle of Brooklyn, for example. Now, the government hadn't been able to sell this building and others like it because of red tape and Washington politics that held things up for years.
Right.
But we're finally cutting through all that and plan to get rid of these buildings in the months ahead. We need to step up our game. We need to go after every dime. We need to make government work for you.
We need to charge them hoes a fee.
That's why, starting today, I've asked the vice president to lead a renewed effort to hunt down misspent tax dollars in every agency and department of this government. We're calling it the Campaign to Cut Waste. And I know Joe's the right man to lead it because nobody messes with Joe.
The Campaign to Cut Waste. Nobody messes with Joe. You want to see young Joe Biden?
Sure.
There's a new standard by which the government is going to function from this point on. The American people are entitled to transparency. Look,
he looks like a different person 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Seriously looks like a different person. Oh, Craig Monger's joining us again.
Yeah.
Craig, what we're going through here is in 2011, Obama put out a whole strategy of getting rid of old federal buildings, and it's called the Campaign to Cut Waste. And he put Joe Biden in charge because nobody messes with Joe. And look at it. Look at how different of a person.
I know.
Yeah,
look,
it's like
A lot of this depends on new, sophisticated methods, but it also we know depends on relentless focus on making this a priority. Focus that can't be delegated. We're holding ourselves accountable. And we're deeply committed and focused on making government function better. We're not just eliminating fraud and waste. We hope to be instilling an entire new culture that not only our administration, but every succeeding administration will in fact pursue. We're going to give you the government you expect and deserve.
14 years later, they didn't give you the government you expect or deserve.
Did you happen to find a Republican reaction to all that was happening?
Oh, at that time, I think it was Speaker Paul Ryan. And because he put out a budget that would balance in 2044, they ran commercials that he was throwing Granny off a cliff. And it's like, this is why you should at least just go for it, man. Actually go and have some fun with all this stuff. Or try to get the job done quickly, because they're going to call you nasty names anyway.
Exactly right.
I mean, this is just the nature of what our politics has been for so long. Now, I want to go to something that might also, on the Republican side, be, what did Bill de Blasio say? Magical thinking.
Oh, yeah.
The cheerleader for Trump and his whole economic agenda clearly is Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. I think the guy has the gift of gab. And if you have not seen the story of what happened in 9/11, I'll put it in summary. By September 11th, 2001, he has like got the world by the, he's doing amazing. And like they were essentially day traders, doing so well that he had 600 something employees working at the top of one of the World Trade Center towers. And it wasn't just any employees, it was his brothers. And in fact, they got into a habit of hiring brothers. So, you know, Joey works there, his brother Will's going to work there too. And they're just they're printing money. They have this formula. They've got a system down. They are just killing it where they're expanding. They have all these satellite offices, but like 600 something people at the top of the World Trade Center. In fact, he's doing so well, Howard Lutnick is, that he doesn't want to be in the office most days. In fact, I'm 40 years old, and I want to spend time with my kids. And so at 8:45 in the morning, a photo is taken of Howard Lutnick on one of his kids' first days of school, first day in kindergarten. He wasn't there. Very soon after, the towers get hit. He shows up, he gets in a cab, and the cab driver drives towards it. And he's seeing all these emergency folks go into the lobby. He's asking all these folks coming out of the lobby, what floor are you on? What floor are you on? And of course, none of his people make it out. His brother, family, and I mean, people lost huge portions of families. He says he hears something, it's coming down. He just starts sprinting, dives under a car, and it's completely dark, completely black. Pokes himself in the eyes, thinking, am I dead? No, well, that hurt. No, I'm not dead. And when he gets up from under the car, he still can't see. It's just pitch black. So he starts going forward, runs into another car, and then finally figures out and just starts sprinting in a particular direction. Just his instincts. He said, if I had turned left, if I had turned right, if I had gone the wrong direction, I would have been dead when the other tower fell. Somehow I kept running and I survived. But then to rebuild the company, I think 25% of everything they made would go to the victims' families. So let's just say this guy is, he's been on top, he's been down, and he's the sort of New York guy that only America makes. But I wonder, is this aspirational, well, not just aspirational, magical thinking on the part of Howard Lutnick here? Let's listen in. I like what he's saying, though.
Balances the budget. His first move is going to be, he has suggested that he would like to waive taxes for people under $150,000. That's aspirational, that when we balance the budget, and let me tell you, he's got a plan to balance this budget, right? We are going to take $1 trillion out of the waste, fraud, and abuse of all of our entitlements and all of our systems and all of our waste. And then we are going to raise $1 trillion. That's the Trump card, the Trump Gold Card is going to be a huge revenue producer. Tariffs are going to be a huge revenue producer. And then getting rid of all the tax scams like Ireland making $75 billion trade, budget surplus. We've got all the ships of the world having Liberian. I mean, imagine a Liberian flag so they get out of paying U.S. taxes. You cut all that stuff out, you got a balanced budget. But on the way, we're going to cut no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security.
I certainly like that idea.
Yeah.
How do you feel about no taxes at all, correct?
Oh, I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
Well, there
I
was
like
even
this a lot.
one that was spurred out there about no property taxes, because at the end of the day, you buy your property, but really you're just renting it from the government.
Oh, DeSantis is making that point pretty well in Florida. I like that.
Which means that Alabama's about 7 years behind if you're considering it.
You know, we ain't ever
We got to do
changing that.
studies, form committees.
Right. And like the right folks or something, Sugar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So maybe that's magical thinking, but I love the idea. Once he gets to a balanced budget, let's waive all taxes on $150,000 or less. Well, you're going to have to sell a heck of a lot of gold cards then. But
or work as a state education superintendent.
yeah, there's that too. But I think a lot of these gold cards will be sold.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Because, for instance, I think they're going to just scrap and lock down in the H-1B program. This will be the new EB-5 program. And I imagine you're going to have some major companies going, we'll have 20 of them at $5 million a pop. Give us 20 of them so we can hire like these 20 people that we really want, whether they just graduated from an American university or they're just the right person to fit the job. I think it's an interesting idea, to say the least.
I wonder if it puts them on the hook.
Puts them on the hook.
Yeah. So a lot of times if a company transfer you, if you don't stay for a lot of amount of time, you have to pay that transfer money back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if this company says, hey, we want to keep El Joey over here and we're going to pay for his citizenship. If it doesn't work out, are you on the hook to pay them back?
Interesting.
That's $5 million.
Interesting.
Or do you just say, I'm an American citizen now, and you give them the middle finger and take off?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Curious.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And folks, indeed, fellas out there, but ladies, if you've noticed your man is not who he used to be, like he really is he's getting a little thick around the middle. He's losing muscle mass. He's always tired, cranky. He's never in the mood. Like you got to chase him across the house to even get close to him. I mean, this could all be pointing to signs of low T. And so if you're a guy out there and you're feeling all these symptoms, why not get by Montgomery Men's Health and have them conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. It's really just a quick blood draw. They ask you basic quality of life questions. And if you do have low testosterone, they have treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health that can truly change men's lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. That's right, brother. A little late on that, brother.
Sorry.
Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism. You usually even notice an increased libido.
Nothing wrong with that, Joey.
And you can actually book the same day that you call. That number 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to montgomerymenshealth.com to book your appointment today. So I'm coming back to this point is, again, folks, I always look at what's trending on X. I look at several other websites. I will still read the Wall Street Journal and look what the New York Times is reporting and what did, Fox put out there and yada, yada, yada. What did the Daily Wire and Breitbart and yada, yada, yada. But then I will always look at what's trending on X. And trending right next to Christ is King is Charge Them Hoes a Fee. Now, that is apparently a new song that was just dropped. And it already almost has 1 million views on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What is it? Playboy? Cardi or something like that? And Travis Scott's on the track or something. And they'd had a big Hot 100 hit last year. And so Charge Them Hoes a Fee. But it was trending right next to Christ is King. So I'm like, oh no, why is Christ is King trending again? It's because, have you seen this, Craig, already?
No, I have not.
This is Reverend Johnny Moore.
Oh, wait, yeah, I have saw that.
And he teamed up with Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, I read the study that they did, or is it claimed to be a study. It was kind of rhetorical.
Well, and I found it interesting. The guy who you and I were both there, the 1819 News gala event.
Yeah, with old Eric Metaxas.
Yeah, Eric Metaxas, who's fantastic, actually. I think that guy is he's something. He said, in commenting on this, we'll play the video in a second. I've been a committed Christian since 1988 and never heard anyone say Christ is king till fairly recently. Jesus is Lord is the phrase I've always heard and used. Christ is king seems to have become a slogan for certain elements who seem to be pushing another agenda. Well, let's just watch the video then, because you said you looked into this claim study a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, let's see this video, what they're getting at with it.
Christ is King has been a cry for connection to the divine, a declaration of faith, a moving signal between Christians of their shared values. But what happens when it becomes a manipulation tactic designed to deceive Christians? Mentions of Christ as King have increased fivefold on platforms like X in just the past 4 years. At first glance, it would seem hopeful as people begin to reinvestigate faith in the face of increasing secularization and chaos in the world. But the NCRI, an organization at the forefront of monitoring deep trends in data, observed a striking and nefarious development around the phrase Christ is King beginning in 2021.
Actually, can somebody look up NCRI, the Network Contagion Research Institute? Because we might be able to figure out what they're actually all about. But let's keep going here.
Observed a striking and nefarious development around the phrase Christ is King beginning in 2021. In 2024, more than 50% of all engagements around Christ is King posts were driven by extremist influencers. The word extremist gets used a lot, and many are understandably skeptical at its use. But we're talking about people like this.
I used sex as a tool to make women love me so they'd obey me and live in my house to make me money.
That Andrew Tate?
Hold on. Andrew Tate would never say Christ is King. Unless it was a troll, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
he's a Muslim.
Yeah, he is.
That would be blasphemous. He would be executed in a number of countries for saying that. So why are you showing me Andrew Tate, jackass?
Well, here's the next one. I think we all know who this is.
Catholics and Christians were going missing on Passover.
Candace
and
Owens.
Find bodies, and they were able to trace them back to Jews. Blood libel.
It's real Africans.
Nick Fuentes.
On average, have an IQ of 65.
Posts like these achieved over 13.6.
Yeah, I'm wondering, when did Andrew Tate put this phrase out there?
I'm not sure.
I was looking at it in this tweet they just put up.
Speaking of a mental contagion, this is the mental contagion.
Million views and more than 100,000 engagements during Easter 2024 alone. While co-opting the phrase for their toxic narrative, figures like Candace Owens and Jake Shields repeat hateful blood libels. And shockingly, by 2024, the most frequently associated term with Christ is King was the word Jew. The intent is clear. Manipulate well-meaning, faithful Christians into having their beliefs tethered to psychopaths. This is nothing short of diabolical. We're caught watching Christ is King being taken by the supremacist right more and more each day. These connections matter. The spiritual, the linguistic, the interpersonal. They shape us, they shape our society, and they shape the world. So what kind of connections do we want to build? And more importantly, what kind of world will we help create? Help retake our values.
Well, because of that video, Christ is King is trending again. I think, number one, just like if you mean well and this was a tactic, that was like the dumbest thing ever.
I'm sorry, but basing an entire study and ethos around how many times something is said on X, whenever a huge percentage of that is going to be trolls, a huge amount of it is going to be AI bots that are actually created to create an illusion of certain things, including that there's a rise in anti-Semitic extremism on Twitter. And everyone I know has seen a tremendous uptick in the level of people going down the Jew hole.
Yes, it's awful.
It is awful. And the problem is it can be awful. It can be because there are plenty of people that, and I believe Daryl Cooper touched on this a bit in his interview with Joe Rogan yesterday. I'm only halfway through it. Where he talked about these are people that realize that they've been fed a sort of baby food version of the history of the 20th century and specifically World War II, and they go and try to ask these questions from a professor, and they get shouted down. Now, what inevitably happens there, and we've seen this in other topics, is the only people willing to have those conversations are the people with a agenda, a Jew-hating agenda. So that's the only information they have, and these are the only people having honest conversations about it. Now, the saying that the whole thing of it being co-opted as Christ is king, what you'd realize is the reason Christ is king exploded wasn't because of anti-Jewish rhetoric. It was because it pissed off all the most hateable people online. That's an element to this, that they're making this grand display with graphics about, oh, look what's showing up on X. No, these are people that are this reaction is exactly why it's blown up, because it pisses off intolerable people.
Yeah, and I look at this, and I've seen the same. I see a lot of anti-Semitic stuff that are just, when you now start scrolling through videos on X, it's over the top. Like, it's really over the top.
Yeah, but it truly is. But at the same time, why should that be a cause for cultural bluster in this way? Because I mean, I'll tell you, I see a lot of just good old fashioned racism on Twitter all the time.
Of
too.
course,
some of it somewhat hilarious, and some of it not. But why is it that this is a conversation that's only circling around this one issue? People are awful on Twitter. They are awful to one another. They are awful to public figures. But why is specifically the anti-Semitic aspect the only one that warrants a study? Or an alleged study? It's not really a study to look at trends on social media when you're not distinguishing between who's real and who's a bot. And of course, you name Candace Owens, which she can be absolutely. I'm not a fan of her at all. Andrew Tate, please, and Jake Shields, who's I'm pretty sure is legally R-worded.
And Fuentes is
and Fuentes is a Fed, like 100%.
Yes.
So that's part of my. That's exactly my point. The Fed part is my point. You have these things that are created and propped up by certain institutions in order to give the illusion that there's some that we're 5 seconds away from a pogrom, but it's all but these are being funded by entities that want this to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's not a coincidence, because I'm sorry not to get critical of the Israeli government, but it bodes well for them when there is an uptick in anti-Semitic rhetoric. So they have a vested interest in seeing more and more and more of it. So I'm always inherently suspicious when I see so much effort going into something like this, where they're talking about what's trending on X. Like, it's social media. It sucks. People have carte blanche to be awful. When's the last time you went walking down the street and you witnessed someone like a mini Cristal knocked? Anybody?
Mm-hmm.
No. So why is this so pressing? That's a question that I would love to have an answer to. Is it because people are unsupportive of the war in Israel? Well, that's not an anti-Semitic problem. That's a international politics problem.
Absolutely. Well, and we'll see where all that goes. I'm hoping Trump's crazy flip the table strategy creates an unlikely outcome. I think the most likely outcome is the war continue. That's the most likely outcome.
Yeah,
a lot more people die.
Yeah, but even then, with Donald Trump and homeboy in Colombia, like, seriously, like, I'm all about that. I'm all about the mass deportations. Rah rah. Mm-hmm. This is a person who's here legally, has a green card, is married to an American woman. He has a permanent visa here. And you can just revoke that because he did what exactly? He's allegedly tied to Hamas. There are people that have accused me, and I'm possibly even you, of espousing Hamas talking points. That means nothing. There's this massive push to make what honestly is not a big deal. It is you can be anti-Semitic, like thoroughly anti-Semitic, and it still not be a big deal. You can just be a douche.
Yeah,
like. Just the same way someone can be racist, just the way someone can have weird sexual proclivities. Like, but we don't talk about that. We're talking about this specifically, and in a very specific point in time, whenever there's negotiations between a foreign government and our own about how much aid they're going to get to continue a war. And now all of a sudden people are concerned about anti-Semitism online. I'm sorry. There's far more bigger priorities that we should have.
Well, and I come back to number one old phrase, You take one red pill, not the whole entire bottle. And
Yeah.
I think you got a lot of folks taking the whole entire bottle.
Oh my God! I've had conversations with people who really go down the Jew hole, and it can be exhausting. And you're like, man, you've really bought into some really harmful and hateful stuff here. That is not a reflection of Jewish people. It's more a reflection of your own internal being. But these are people that need the types of honest and open conversations that we see on platforms like Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan. They don't need to be publicly shamed, because all that does is balkanizes them against any sort of legitimate criticism. That's why it doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter to them that the commandant of Auschwitz himself admitted to what he did. It doesn't matter that international courts found people guilty of war crimes at Nuremberg and elsewhere and in Jerusalem. It doesn't matter, because all they see that as is a work and a narrative from the establishment. And anytime they try to have a conversation, they're called anti-Semitic. And then what do? They sink further into their own little precious little ideas and ideologies. This is not the way to effectively address what could be a problem.
Yeah, and my underlying point, this is why I kept bringing up the, charge them hoes a fee.
Yeah.
Like seeing that right next to Crisis King trending, does it not, charge them hoes a fee is this new, I guess, hip hop song out, whatever.
Oh, I'm going to listen to it on break.
Yeah, I mean, it's catchy.
Very catchy.
I mean, it not me. Like I'm like, y'all do you. But it is catchy. I'll give them that. The production's very catchy. Charge them hoes a fee. Charge them hoes a fee. Like, it's just that, but some big beat and the booming and all that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, but
whatever.
It's
not my stuff.
Am I wrong here? Like, let's say that there was a growing actual number of people who had legitimate Jew hatred.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that the government needs to address?
I don't think the government needs to address.
Well, that's what we're seeing. And it's in coordination with, like I said, so-called studies like this. It seems like it's a coordinated effort. You have people, even Katie Britt, talking about sending letters and trying to pass, add definitions of anti-Semitism into our laws. And again, this is happening a couple years into a conflict in the Middle East where Israel is rapidly losing international support. I see this as direct influence from a foreign government, and I don't like it. Doesn't mean that I like anti-Semitism, but this is just creepy to me.
Well, this is why I brought up the topic, because I think it's complicated and it does deserve some nuanced discussion. But again, my underlying point is also the phrase "Crisis King" is how old?
Very. It's on Oliver Cromwell's tomb.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's actually not that. It says Christ, not man, is king. And of course, we know, huge Cromwell fan, took the head of the British king.
But it's even older than that, too.
It's been around forever. I'm sure I could do a quick Grok search and find the earliest use of it, but it's not just it's uber old because it is a fundamental part of the Christian faith. And I'm sorry, but no amount of alleged anti-Semitism or true anti-Semitism gets to rob the Christian church of that truth. I don't post it on Facebook or Twitter just because I don't feel compelled to, but you don't get to co-opt that. Nobody does.
But does using it as a way to troll people on Twitter respect the term? It's what it really means in its fullness.
And this
is what I mean, seeing in the context of all the other trending things, I'm like, oh, it's just another thing we say. And I get why more people are saying it after that video.
Again, as a troll, I think you have a point, but as like a response to the cultural decay around us, which can be considered a troll in and of itself. Like if you just go to every rabbi's page and comment Christ is king, you're kind of a D word. But if you're responding to, like I said, the cultural decay that we see with Christ is king, that is an aggressive affirmation of the authority of Christ over his creation. And that, to me, will always be beautiful, but it can be used in an ugly way.
And given how old the term is, I'd imagine there, let's say, governments or political authorities that might have used that term that, I don't know. Sometimes I think of the third commandment, using the Lord's name in vain. And often folks go to thinking of like saying a GD or gosh darn it or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I think a lot of times it's more that politician up there very earnestly praying and evoking God. And, when they go in the back room, they don't believe a lick of it. I think that's the biggest violation, essentially taking oaths.
Well, you know, Eddie just showed me actually he looked it up. He looked up the tweet from Andrew Tate where he said he'd love to see Christian resurgence, then they put Christ as king. That's a troll, and that's an abominable use of the term, because your religion literally would have you, like I said, there's say that in Saudi Arabia and see what happens.
And also, like, I started this by quoting not this story, but Eric Metaxas. And there's a reason, because I think Eric Metaxas is pretty solid on a lot of stuff. It doesn't mean he's necessarily right, and given the amount of interpretations and denominations, you're always going to have some bone to pick and fight that's potentially there, debate at least to be had. But I do think there are certain elements that need to be pointed out. And I think at the end of the day, most anything you do on Twitter is cheapening a lot of what you're actually pushing. We have to be careful in this new meme world. Like, let the memes just be memes. This is why Doge is so effective. It is silly. It is fundamentally a silly thing. And the best memes are fundamentally very, very silly things and absurd things. I just find it, and also, you know, I come by this honestly. I think I asked you about this last year where I kept seeing this, and to me, I would see sometimes folks saying Christ is king, and it was just a proxy of shut up Jew.
Yeah.
And I saw that a year ago. So I've noticed this, but I've also seen what you talked about, where people say somebody promoting sex workers, like, and promoting, like, we need to not only legalize it, but legitimize it. And it's just a wonderful lifestyle for young women and men. It's just OnlyFans is cool. And somebody might post Christ is king. Okay, I think that's a little more legitimate of a use, but still, even in that moment, I'm like,
is there ever see, my question is, like, as a Christian, for me personally, there's never a time where that statement isn't true.
Right.
So you legitimately had, this is why I think it's kind of stupid to make a fuss about it, because you're legitimately saying that you can peer into someone's heart and know the intent of their words, which, for the case of, at Captain Poopy Farts 415 on Twitter is a pretty good, you can make that determination fairly well. But when you look at someone like Candace Owens, who again I have no affection for,
I haven't liked her since her first appearance on Rogan 5-6 years
ago. She's awful and very unlettered in a big way. But like a Jake Shields, who, like I said, is very unintelligent.
He's been hitting the head too many times.
Yeah. Because they have what I believe is an incorrect view of history, does that mean that they are incapable of making a Christian affirmation?
No.
Okay, so then why? So then, what is the hubbub about? You think they're wrong. I think they're wrong. I can guarantee you something that these people can't. I guarantee you that I've had more conversations with bona fide Holocaust deniers than they have bona fide Holocaust deniers. And guess what? They have an incorrect, wrong, faulty view of history. That's it. That does not mean that they should have the proverbial mark of the beast, where they're not allowed to buy, trade, sell, and engage in public discourse because they have this view of history. You are wrong, and in the case of Candace Owens, really wrong very often. But again, this isn't a national security threat. This isn't a threat to the soul of the country. You know what is a threat to the soul of the country? Whenever you ostracize and castigate an entire group of people and tell them there are subjects that are off limits. It's not a good idea. I have had conversations with more than I can count, in-person conversations with Holocaust deniers, and they have, and 201, they are people that took the entire red pill, and the way to get through to those people, the whole bottle, excuse me. Yeah. The way to get to those people is not to shout them down, is not to call them anti-Semitic, is not to repeat every single trope that you ever heard coming from the ADL. It is to have first of all, to have a command and a knowledge of the history yourself, and to be able to say, I understand your distrust of historical narratives. However, have you considered X, Y, and Z? This is not the answer.
Or point them to go actually listen to Daryl Cooper's 5-hour program on this.
Yeah. And that's what Rogan said. If you haven't listened to Fear and Loathing in New Jerusalem, you should. The first hour of it is the most pro-Jewish, pro-Zionist sounding thing you've ever heard in your life, because he does who was it, Otto von Bismarck or someone who said that the most important thing you can do before starting a conflict is to empathize with your enemy.
Right.
Even if someone is an enemy, you should be able to try to get in their head. Otherwise, you other them as these subhuman, evil, parasitic, rat-like creatures, almost like we did with like a group of people did with another group of people in the 40s in Germany.
Well, and to another point you made, I think a good rule is don't occupy the stereotypes of your enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And the stereotype that a lot of folks who are Democrats and on the left have is if we're not in power, then that's how you get Nazism. Populism means this is how you get Nazis. If the people are actually elect folks that actually run the government, this is how you get Hitler. And so when you see folks using language that very much sounds like that and going down that rabbit hole, you're like, that just seems actually like a way for the current establishment to regain legitimacy, saying we have to fight this stuff.
100%, 100%.
So you sow the seeds of the very thing you want to fight and destroy down the line.
That's actually a very good point. That's a very good point.
So it's I mean, it's messy, but I've been
messy
watching
conversation.
I've been watching this for a few years now, and I kind of don't know what to completely make of it. We just talked about it at length, but we got to hit a break. Again, this entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim and Madeline can help you, whether you're looking to purchase a home. And would you say, Eddie, that not all, say, mortgage brokers are made equal? I'll put it this way. Kim started Alabama Home Mortgage because she used to work for a big old bank, and she knew she wasn't getting on the best deals, given the bank's rules for employees and whatnot. She's like, I can do so much better for folks.
And she has.
And
absolutely
so there's I guess, flexibility. There's something about a good local shop run by somebody like that where you're going to get a better deal.
Yep. You're going to get better service all day long. You're not just a number. You're not just someone that happened to call in. These folks live in your neighborhood. They live in our community. They come on our show. They want to see everyone succeed. These are great people here. Whenever I have VA lenders or VA people that want a VA loan, Madeline's the first person we call.
I love it. Because, folks, not only can they walk you through the whole home buying process, they really are going to get you the best possible deal. And what I love is how honest they are. Sometimes they'll look into your credit and go, you're not ready. Or they'll look at your situation and go, you're not ready, but here are the steps you can take to get yourself in position to buy that home you're looking for. Fantastic. And, of course, they can also help you with a great refinance deal, especially you veterans. So y'all check them out today. Y'all find Alabama Home Mortgage. Start that conversation at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Like Kim and Madeline proved that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit AlabamaSheriff'sYouthRanches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Kind of an interesting forecast for tonight. We'll drive through the evening hours, but overnight tonight, there could be some scattered, possibly strong storms, maybe severe. A tornado can't be ruled out, especially in the western counties. low temperature 59. Then a little break. It becomes breezy, warm, high 81 Saturday, with the main event coming on later on Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. Showers and storms become likely, some severe. The threats include damaging winds, large hail, and a significant tornado threat. By significant, I mean some of the tornadoes could be quite strong and long track. Then in the wee hours of the morning, that line moves out. Improvement during the day, Sunday with mostly sunny skies, high near 70. Our weather app will keep you on top of the action with instant push notifications for severe weather alerts. Free in the App Store. Search Rich Thomas Weather. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
Adams Drugs has been committed to the healthcare of the people of the River Region for over 62 years. We value the trust each customer has in our pharmacists, techs, and entire staff. If you have not experienced the difference of Adams Drugs and are not satisfied with the customer service that you get in the big box stores, we invite you to visit any of our locations and see how committed we are to your satisfaction. Adams Drugs offers a variety of services that you will not find in all pharmacies in the River Region. Personalized compounding, area-wide delivery, wellness screenings, immunizations, medication consultations, and specialized packaging, just to name a few. Visit us at our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs has 12 convenient locations to serve you. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Adams Drugs is your local Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Alabama weather will never fail to surprise you. Our lawns hardly get a chance to have any downtime, and as usual, it's already time to start getting ready for spring. This year, save the hard work and aggravation and call Alabama Lawns, the River Region's leader in weed control and fertilization services. What makes Alabama Lawns the River Region's best? It's the people. They have the experience, education, and commitment to customer satisfaction. Ask your neighbors. Alabama Lawns has been the Montgomery Advertiser's Reader's Choice Award winner 13 years in a row. The Alabama Lawn staff is made up of long-term employees and agronomy graduates, and the staff at Alabama Lawns attend annual continuing education classes. It pays to have someone that knows southern grass types and how to keep them green and flourishing. Call Alabama Lawns today at 272-7171 and let them show you real value in a lawn maintenance service. Alabama Lawns, the company with black trucks and green lawns. 272-7171.
During tax season, your personal info travels to a lot of places you can't control. Between payroll, your home office, your tax preparer, and the IRS, if your W-2 gets exposed, that's just the ticket for identity thieves. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Are you happy with your IT support company? Do they resolve your company's computer issues quickly, or do they leave you down and frustrated? You need your computers working and problems resolved quickly and permanently. GTI is different. GTI has a high standard of affordably supporting and protecting businesses like yours since 1999. Call them now at 819-4650, 819-4650, or visit gtinow.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Michael, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. How are y'all?
I'm quite well. Well, I'm better than I began. There was all these technical issues, and I was a cranky guy, Mr. Poopy Pants over here. But what's the score? What's the score today at Cohen's?
It's 28-7. Yeah, all my techs are out running, my delivery crew's running, Michael Jackson's running, and people are coming in and buying, and it's been a great day. We had Michael Jackson go out and do some installs, and he had to help the customer with their Wi-Fi because they had some dead spots where the TV wasn't picking up like it was supposed to. So he remedied that and got the wires hidden, got it mounted, got it installed, got everything set up, got the passwords put in, and everybody's happy.
Well, beautiful. And having seen Michael Jackson at work myself, it's so true. And it's great peace of mind knowing that not only did I just buy this great product there from Cohen's, that there are actually folks who know how to set it up right. And if any problems do come up down the road, I got somebody I can call. And it really is, I think the difference there is the service, along with the great selection y'all have at Cohen's. And folks can always shop online at thinkcohens.com. It's always a great way to go about things, but there's nothing like actually stopping by the Boulevard, 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery, open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to find Michael and be like, hey, I heard you on the radio with that Joey Clark fella. I don't know where Eddie went.
That's right. Y'all come see us, ask us some questions, let us ask you some questions, and let us help you make the right choice for whatever your needs are.
Appreciate it.
Have a great weekend.
You too, sir. Again, Cohen's Electronics and Appliances, great sponsor here of the program. I only got about like a minute left in this segment, folks. So I'm trying to think, do I have any palate cleansers today? Do I have any at all? Not really. I mean, well, there's this one clip of Sebastian Gorka, who I don't love necessarily, but he big boys Jake Tapper. And anytime somebody big boys Jake Tapper, I kind of go, and this is the flip side of kind of what we were talking about, Craig, in the last long segment, is the official institutions, the guardrails are off. And in a way, it's glorious because of stuff like this.
Post reported that the freeze on U.S. foreign assistance in Africa has, quote, threatened programs intended to counter al-Shabaab bomb makers, contain the spread of al-Qaeda across West Africa, and secure Islamic State prisoners in the Middle East, according to U.S. officials and aid workers, unquote. Are those cuts still in place? Are you concerned about them at all?
Is that the same Washington Post that propagated the Russia collusion hoax for the last 8 years?
Well, regardless of the Russia...
No, not regardless. You're quoting the Washington Post to me, which is as effective as posting for me or quoting to me any other pillar of the fake news industrial complex. I really couldn't care less what the Washington Post or the New York Times says, especially when it's anonymous government officials. If it's true, put your name to it. If it's not, shut up.
So you get great moments like that. And I think to put a bow on what we were talking about earlier, Craig, what you need is success. You need opportunity. You were telling me this off air. People need to find purpose if they're in the worst holes. The way you really do it is you give people those foundations that man didn't make. I'll put it that way. Yeah. And you know me, maybe the best I can do these days is quote just some Erasmus, though it's Selenium Alcibiades. I'll live by that. That it's the least conspicuous is probably where you'll find the real king. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
Upcoming on Capitol Hill, the Senate voting later today to vote on a continuing resolution to avoid a partial government shutdown at midnight tonight. Heavy snow and high winds in the Great Plains could make travel treacherous in the Dakotas and parts of Minnesota. Forecasters say strong winds and warm, dry weather farther south pose a critical risk of wildfires in northwest Texas, Oklahoma, and a portion of southeast Kansas. The threat of tornadoes in Missouri and Illinois, as well as portions of Iowa, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Arkansas exists. Severe weather threats expected to persist into the weekend. Hamas says it has accepted a proposal from mediators to release 1 living American-Israeli hostages and the bodies of 4 hostages who had died in captivity. No, this is SRN News.
Attention. If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $20,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. Going back and forth with the IRS can be stressful and confusing. The IRS doesn't joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. Don't let other companies charge you to pull transcripts. BC Tax will discreetly obtain your IRS transcripts free of charge. So, if you're tired of the IRS letters and would like to get a fresh start, BC Tax can help. Our team of tax professionals are making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $20,000. We've helped thousands just like you. Call 800-214-3995 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. Call 800-214-3995. That's 800-214-3995. Again, 800-214-3995.
Rich Thomas weather is brought to you by MPM Feed and Seed. It's time to get those gardens ready. From seeds to plants to fertilizer, MPM has what you need. Shop MPM Feed and Seed in Prattville, 1313 Highway 31 North. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays, 8 to 1.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Kind of an interesting forecast for tonight. We'll drive through the evening hours, but overnight tonight, there could be some scattered, possibly strong storms, maybe severe. A tornado can't be ruled out, especially in the western counties. Low temperature 59. Then a little break. It becomes breezy, warm, high 81 Saturday, with the main event coming on later on Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. Showers and storms become likely, some severe. The threats include damaging winds, large hail, and a significant tornado threat. By significant, I mean some of the tornadoes could be quite strong and long track. Then in the wee hours of the morning, that line moves out. Improvement during the day, Sunday, with mostly sunny skies, high near 70. Our weather app will keep you on top of the action with instant push notifications for severe weather alerts. Free in the App Store. Search Rich Thomas Weather. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
You can make your ASC loan payments from your phone anytime, anywhere. It's quick and easy. www.yourasccu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
ASC Credit Union. Your life, your cause, your ASC.
1819 News.
Alabama State Superintendent of Education Dr. Eric Mackey is remaining very calm despite the fact that millions of dollars in federal funding coming to the state of Alabama was halted on Wednesday by the U.S. Department of Education. That halt came on the same day that the department slashed its workforce by 50%. Dr. Mackey continued on with his duties for the day and expressed confidence that the funding will resume in a matter of days. Mackey also said that Alabama will likely have less federal regulations and burdensome paperwork attached to that federal funding when it does resume. The U.S. Department of Education is currently undergoing a massive overhaul that involves the Department of Government Efficiency, as well as the new Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, who served under the first Trump administration as the director of the Small Business Administration. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Did you know that 70% of people experience a potentially traumatic event in their lifetime, and that 6 out of every 100 adults face PTSD every day? Help us bring hope to these survivors by signing up for your Alabama Distinctive PTSD Awareness License Plate today. The great thing is you can sign up no matter when your current plate renews, and the first year is complimentary. All you need is your VIN number on hand. Drive awareness, drive hope, and customize your plate today at atease.org. That's ATEASE.org.
An Elmore County man is headed to prison for 8 years after sentencing from a federal judge. 31-year-old Desmond Howard entered a guilty plea regarding drug and gun charges. Back in the summer of 2024, Elmore County Sheriff's deputies responded to a domestic disturbance that involved Howard and a female. The female claimed that Howard had followed her home. A pursuit of Howard by police then resulted, and he tossed 2 items from his fleeing car that turned out to be an illegal drug called Molly, as well as a handgun. Howard has a previous felony conviction that prohibits him from owning a handgun. I'm Andrea Tyson.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk.
Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Clark. Welcome back. Final hour here of the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Both Eddie Bader and Craig Munger here in the studio. And Eddie, I'm still loving that shirt, man. Bad day to be a Busch Light.
Yeah, man. This afternoon, show happy.
So if I was a Busch Light, you'd drink me down?
Drink and crush you.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not a Busch Light then.
Lucky for you.
So it's been a little while, and I'm very skeptical of this particular issue, but as I get to this clip, I'll describe my emotions. But it's been a little while since we played a Senator Katie Britt clip.
Has.
Yeah, it has been.
It has.
Yeah. I mean, she's been all over the place.
She has been very mispopular.
So is Coach, too.
Yep.
Like, we both have very media-savvy senators.
Yes, we do.
You mean Governor Coach?
You think he's actually going to run?
I hear you.
Yeah. I bet you.
I hear you.
What did we put on? I'm going to have to go back and check.
It's a dinner bit. I
dinner
don't
bet?
remember going to the same steakhouse, but I'm more than welcome to.
What's the bet again?
The Korean.
Oh, no, we're going to go to my buddy's place down in Hope Hole.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. It's just another meal bet.
Oh, over what?
Over if Tubbs is going to run for governor.
If he really runs.
And you're saying...
I'm saying yes.
Oh, yeah.
And you're saying no.
Saying no.
But he's really not feeling good about that.
Craig is 100%.
Oh, no. I'm sticking with more... right now, this moment, I'm more with Eddie on the no, and that Coach is just really having a lot of fun messing with everybody.
It's...
I can see it, and the more I think about it, I wouldn't mind him being governor. I just hate to lose him there. That's my thing.
Yeah, but the question is, if he's someone that you like, how effective is he as one voice among so many and so ineffective, as opposed to being a governor where you can get a lot of crap done.
Well, I would hope he would, but I expected that out of this memo we got here.
Did you really? What did you expect? Half off mint juleps on Tuesday?
I really thought I didn't expect the gas tax. That one got me.
Yeah. Well, speaking of gas tax, let's go to Katie Britt.
And I apologize. I'm leaning more to Eddie to be in full like candor here.
Yeah.
I got that Ainsworth money. No, not really. I wish.
If you're doling it out, Mr. Lieutenant Governor, Joseph is all about it.
No, honestly, I'd be happy with Tuberville as governor. I'd be happy with Ainsworth as governor. And I think we'll see.
I've only been offered a bribe once, and it offends me that it's never happened more.
Yeah. It's like, how much can you be bought for? Well, this guy's got hundreds of millions of dollars. Do I ever have to work again?
All you have to do is wear an Alabama hat at your next public event,
Mm.
and I will write anything you want to, Coach.
But this is on the issue of, because I've written about this, like Katie Britt wants to keep your kids off social media.
Yep.
And I think what was my opening line? At first, I thought upon seeing her bill that Big Brother had undergone that sex change operation liberals have wanted so long. What's old Camille Paglia line that liberals see the government as tyrant father, but want it to be a nurturant mother.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just generally skeptical of all this stuff. But here's Katie Britt, because I finished that essay saying, I see the point. If you're a parent and you're thinking about the kids on the social media, on the interwebs, you're seeing how crazy it makes your brain if you're on there. What's it going to do to young minds forming, yada, yada, yada. I think the bottom line, and y'all are both parents here, I'm not, but the best thing for kids in any situation is actually having mothers and fathers who are very attendant to their needs and the things they might encounter in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But this is a clip, I think, from a committee hearing the other day. Senator Britt is talking to a guy named John Pizzurro. Think he's Italian?
A little.
Maybe Greek?
Hey.
And let's listen.
Forming Section 230 and passing bills such as Stop CSAM Act. I am of the view that one of the things that Congress needs to do is ensure that social media platforms verify the ages of their users rather than relying on, kind of them to do that themselves. And we all know that typically what they say, you can't be on there until you're 13, but they never verify that. So that's just meaningless. I co-led another bill during Congress, the Protecting Kids on Social Media Act, that addressed this issue. Given your background and experience, do you have any views regarding how Congress may best approach the age verification issue?
Okay, so when I first heard this clip, at about that point, I'm like, no, I don't want Big Brother to have a sex change. No, thank you. Because to verify the age of children, you got to verify the age of everybody, right? That's how I felt. But I kept watching.
Yes, device-based. Your phone knows how old you are, right? So if I'm 10 years old and I try to download Snap and I try to get on it, it knows that I'm not. So even Raven's been working on text, but the solution is really device-based because we know that. And even parents today can't even understand, like, if parental controls, there's like 51, each one has a different one. What happens if we were able to create one where a parent can press a button to prevent their kids and that information from going on? And it's not even a privacy issue, is because the phone knows how old they are. So
The phone knows how old you are, because when we as parents, if you were to go and get your child a phone, you're saying we have to give that information when the phone is purchased.
Correct.
Right?
So
So the information exists.
is there. It's right there.
It is already there. So then enforcing this, making these companies actually be able to not download an app, let's say, if you know that the child that owns the phone is under the age of that of which it should be available, shouldn't actually be that hard. And that kind of sort of seems that it would go into an app store.
Yes, and the apps would actually talk to the actual store that in, whether it be.
So what you're telling me is we have all of the information we already need to help protect our children when it
Correct.
comes to age verification. We just have companies that are unwilling to do the hard thing that would be the best thing for our kids.
Thoughts? I'm not a parent, so
gosh, it's bizarre because I'll watch parents with their children and I want to behead them with a machete when I see the level of irresponsibility of parents. Like I was just in Target at like 8 o'clock at night the other day, and just this group of teenagers come in, just yelling, being obnoxious and loud. I'm like, your parents let you do this?
Right.
Like, this isn't something that you've earned. You've obviously not earned the right to go out by yourself. It's just something that is sort of expected. But you see that now with like smartphones. It's like people think that giving their children a smartphone is just something that they have just earned on the basis of being alive. So
don't even give them the device in the first place.
Exactly. So like it's difficult for me to even arrive at the thought of letting Congress intervene, because I can't imagine giving a child unfettered access to a smartphone in the first place. So, but again, you know me, I am never about the government being the babysitter ever. So I'm obviously not in favor of this, but I understand the thing here, the idea. But I think we should need to bring back public whippings of bad parents. That would be much better.
It's like a child lock on the TV, like all those years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm a little worried because it sounds like the argument here, and maybe it's a good argument, maybe is certain parents are so stupid that they don't know how to work child protections on the phone, so we need to do it for them.
I wouldn't necessarily say some parents are so stupid. Just there is.
You ever followed a stupid kid home?
Yeah, doesn't mean there's a dumb parent there. Some kids are just stupid. But in the world that I live in today, I can't even get people to e-sign contracts, and it's very simple. So I can't.
Wait, what?
E-sign a contract.
Yeah.
Basically, it says hit the X button here. Yeah, there's a lot of people that struggle with that. So I can't, in good conscience, say, "Hey, you're an idiot because you can't operate a cell phone that your kid should be able to operate." I would say that, when you buy the phone, you should be able to go, make sure you hit that button there, G, and then be done with it.
Ask the Verizon lady. They'll help
that's what I'm saying. It's just, you just go, hey, this is for my daughter, so make sure you hit the button there, buddy.
And be sure to charge them hoes a fee.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, again, I don't think it's stupid parents. I think it's lazy parents, and that's a razor thin margin.
Fair.
Yeah.
But so many parents just don't care what their kids do. It's like
when they find out too late.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Yeah, you did. You allowed this to happen.
Well, look at all these look at all these stories, these like molestation stories or abuse stories or whatever, and you read that and you're like, okay, your parent, like, obviously this is a horrible thing that happened to you, but your parents need to be whipped through the street and covered in duty. Like, this is just the level of irresponsibility of some parents is frightening. So should Congress get involved at that point?
I hate that they have to. I think it's ridiculous.
I do too. It's a complicated question, and I think it's important to want to protect kids. But at some point, there's a biblical principle here, and this is going to sound very harsh, but if in the Old Testament, if a Jewish girl was found to have fornicated outside of wedlock,
committed
adultery, she was to be stoned outside the foot of her father's tent, which is very brutal when you hear it. But there's a very important premise there. As a father and as a parent, you are responsible. It's not your fault, but it's your responsibility. If your child does X, Y, and Z because you gave them the freedom to do so, then you hold a certain level of culpability. You're not stoned along with the daughter or the son who commits this act or whatever, but it's done at your foot, because this is your job. This should have been your job to prevent this. So when we have kids misbehaving on social media, making bomb threats or getting groomed, that is ultimately the parent's responsibility. And I don't know, we should be talking about punishments for parents who fail to protect their children. Like, I read a lot about church abuse stuff, and it was like, I was one story. It was a youth pastor, and the parent let the youth pastor drive a 16-year-old girl home. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to beat you to death. I want to beat you to death, because even if you trusted this person as much as you trust your own father, that just the simple appearance of impropriety should be enough to motivate you not to do that. And parents will do this all the time. When you see kids driving on dirt roads like jackasses on ATVs or dirt bikes, it's like, who bought you the dirt bike? When you see a 16-year-old girl dressed like a streetwalker in Walmart, who bought you the clothes? When you see him misbehaving on social media, who bought you the phone and the laptop and the iPad? This isn't Congress's job. This is parents who need to be rightfully castigated and shamed in the cultures and societies that they live.
And I'm thoroughly convinced, not necessarily of what Congress should do, but I'm thoroughly convinced of the problem. that Senator Britt's pointed out, other Republicans, other Democrats, it's a fairly bipartisan issue.
Yeah.
You like Jonathan Haidt's work on this, especially suicidal ideation and other, say, self-harm and just low self-esteem, depression and stuff in young girls in particular, in the age of social media. It's astounding. It's truly astounding. And if you think about like the kind of dynamics, psychological dynamics of men and women in particular, you know, if you're in school, you're in middle school, and some guy's making fun of you, you might get in a fight with them.
Yeah.
Guys tend to settle it in a fairly in-your-face way. And they're going to even bully you. Even if you back off and you're not going to fight back for yourself, they'll bully you to your face. The way girls tend to, say, bully or harm one another is through reputational destruction and mockery online. And social media amplifies that particular tactic to an nth degree. And so it kind of makes common sense if you think about the differences between men and women, that you're seeing a lot of young girls who I think are more sensitive to social things. You see, that's why you see more of a social contagion in young women with the whole trans thing.
Oh, yeah.
This is just the nature of our being. And so the problem's very real. Like, you're seeing this issue in particular with young women, and something needs to be done. And the question then becomes, okay, if the parent doesn't do this stuff, do you have sort of your back end regulation to where it's essentially settled between the app store and the makers of the product, of the device? I don't know. My initial thought is you're going to have to verify everybody's age.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to have a universal online ID or something, which I think is a very bad thing for the government. So very, very bad indeed. But if it is devices you buy and you have to already register, and I think you do. If you go get a family plan at Verizon, you're going to clarify which phone is for the kid. Maybe you could have something built into devices for the kid that the kid can't easily hack. That's the other question. You could be a parent and you put all the parental locks on there, and your kid's just new to this stuff, and they're more clever than you. They know how to fix the VCR.
Joe Rogan told the story how he had a child lock on his phone that the parents had to input a code to access a certain amount of time. Well, his sneaky daughter started screen recording, then handed the phone to the mom, got the code, and was able to do that. So kids are very sneaky and tricky, but that's again part of the responsibility of a parent. You need to know what groomers do, for instance. You need to know what the social media landscape looks like to know what pitfalls to help them avoid if you let them have social media at all. That's your responsibility. That goes back to the laziness I was talking about. You can't, if you're a parent in this age, you cannot afford morally to be ignorant about how technology works.
Well, and I've said many times, if I wasn't in this line of work, I would have deleted social media a long time ago.
Oh God, yeah. Oh my Lord.
Yeah, I'm more used it as sort of information flows, and I realize that you can't. It does get to you psychologically, but you sort of have to step back and reset and realize what it's doing. And
even every morning, like every once in a while, I'll catch myself because I'm a man. I wake up in the morning. First thing I do is I go sit on the john. Because I'm a normal, healthy man with healthy movements. And I'll catch myself first thing. I'm still rubbing the sleep out of my eyes. I'm still kind of squinting, and I'll just find myself going to Twitter, and I have to be like, dude, what are you doing?
By the way, that happened to me this week. You saw what I wrote this week.
Oh
right?
yeah.
I woke up at 5:30 in the morning because of the stupid. They're messing with our clock. Stop messing with the clocks. I'm still pissed off about it. I'm feeling a little better a few days into it.
It should be.
But stop messing with the clock. So I wake up at 5:30, which was really what, 4:30?
Yep.
And the first thing I see, Craig, just wiping sleep out. Like I still have, it's like you've got a smudge on the phone, but it's really the sleep in your eyes. So literally getting it out of my eyes. I see an email from Michelle Browder. I'm like, what? What? And I'm not going to share the private correspondence, but I'm like, all right, good morning to you too. Goodness gracious.
Dude, that's the worst part about my job. It's like I literally wake up to dozens of strangers ripping apart my art. It can be very grating. I had an exchange with someone this morning, and I think the last thing I said, you should appreciate this. This is my favorite Shakespearean line to throw at people. And I said, just keep scratching the sad itch of your opinion.
Oh, that is a good line.
It's from Coriolanus. Because you may, the full line is, you scratch the sad itch of your opinion until you make yourself scabs, which I think is good, but it's a little wordy.
And it's good though.
Yeah.
That guy had a way with words.
Oh, yeah, he was a bit loquacious.
Do you still think it's the guy? Like he's actually the guy
that he wrote everything?
Yeah, you're not an Oxfordian.
No, I think the Oxfordian thing is stupid, and I think it's just a again. There's that was like the earliest conspiracy theory that I can think of because people were bored back then too.
Right. That, by the way, that seems a lot more wholesome. Like, who actually wrote Shakespeare? Other than like, why are we always in these wars?
Who took down the towers?
Right.
Tower 7. It was the Jews. Oh my gosh!
Please stop it.
Stop.
Eddie, you have an opinion on the Oxfordian
not really
authorship debate?
No,
No.
not really the second.
You don't. Not the second, but
Maybe another time.
or you've changed your mind since the other day when you were just going on and on about it. When I was taking you over to the mechanic shop, you're just going on and on. Only the Earl of Oxford could have actually penned this stuff, given his knowledge of other court behaviors around the world and his sort of upbringing and history, reading the
but
Latin
I've been
classics.
drinking Four Loko, so you know what that does to me.
You shouldn't have done that.
All right.
I didn't know that.
The Four Loko. Well, you were driving.
Don't do it again.
You were driving. What else am I
Don't
going to
do it again.
You were drinking a Four Loko in the passenger seat. Are you 17 and living in 2010?
They had two for $5, Craig.
Two of the big boys?
Yes.
The big boy cans? Okay, that's just economic.
Watermelon flavor. Come on.
The watermelon was never my favorite.
Really?
Green
'cause-
apple.
Green apple.
Oh, green apple.
Yeah.
You know, the watermelon like fake flavor doesn't taste like watermelon.
No, it doesn't.
Not like those Sweet
It's-
Creek watermelons. Ooh.
Hey,
boy.
is RFK going to stop my artificial watermelon flavoring?
You might.
Uh,
You're poisoning yourself, Eddie.
Malo-
I need to work on the. I can't do an RFK. I just-
Malo
Let me punch you in the
labe,
throat
Mr.
and give it a go.
Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah, punch me in the kidney. Actually,
I like reposting every once in a while. I have a picture of some Fruity Pebbles, and then I just put the caption Malone Labe on the top, and I like tag RFK in it because you're not taking my Fruity Pebbles. Not happening in any universe. I will go to war for my Fruity Pebbles.
this
Better
part of the
stock up.
program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and they're Pest Pro. Ashley and that fantastic team are ready to help you out. Go on their Facebook page if you want to nominate a Player of the Week. It's the way Pest Pro gives back, and they highlight a local athlete that has a great performance. So go DM there on Facebook, direct message them your nominations for the week. You can see all the requirements for that nomination there on the Facebook page. But of course, termite season is upon
man,
us.
it's happening.
Happening.
It's happening. Yeah. So right now, if you get real quiet in your house and you hear something that just sounds like something's crunching, oh, that's
Oh
termites.
no. And then God forbid you wake up and it's a swarm happening.
Well, the story I heard on the swarm is the girl thought there was something in her closet, like maybe the cat or something that got in her closet, and then she opened the door, and that's when she saw the swarm. Yeah.
You don't have to live that way, folks. Pest Pro Services can take care of it for you. If you're worried about termite season, and you should be.
You should be, yeah.
Call them up today, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com, or again, just search for Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. My last message was the report for 2024 real estate market in the River region. According to industry experts, they predict for 2025, we will have more inventory to choose from for our buyers, more buyers for sellers to show their houses to. Here are 5 tips for buyers or sellers in 2025. Number 1, sellers need to price their home at fair market value with the help of your realtor. Number 2, buyers need to be pre-qualified by a local lender prior to shopping for a house to save them time. Number 3, use a certified residential specialist or CRS to purchase or sell your home. Less than 2% of realtors nationwide have this designation. You need an expert now. 4, use someone with 48 years of real estate experience to help you with your largest investment. Number 5, quit waiting. Now's the time to buy or sell. Call Bo Goodson at 221-2883, the Goodson Group, or 551-0225.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdis. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Alabama weather will never fail to surprise you. Our lawns hardly get a chance to have any downtime, and as usual, it's already time to start getting ready for spring. This year, save the hard work and aggravation and call Alabama Lawns, the River Region's leader in weed control and fertilization services. What makes Alabama Lawns the River Region's best? It's the people. They have the experience, education, and commitment to customer satisfaction. Ask your neighbors. Alabama Lawns has been the Montgomery Advertiser's Reader's Choice Award winner 13 years in a row. The Alabama Lawn staff is made up of long-term employees and agronomy graduates, and the staff at Alabama Lawns attend annual continuing education classes. It pays to have someone that knows southern grass types and how to keep them green and flourishing. Call Alabama Lawns today at 272-7171 and let them show you real value in a lawn maintenance service. Alabama Lawns, the company with black trucks and green lawns. 272-7171.
Hi, I'm Allison Chandley, account executive with Blue Water Broadcasting. Why should you advertise with us? Did you know that more Americans listen to the radio than use Facebook each week? Did you know that 77% of listeners would try a brand or product endorsed by their favorite radio personality? Contact me, Allison Chandley, by going to bluewaterbroadcasting.com to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Clark Heating, Air and Plumbing.
Hey, this is Robbie Clark. Spring is almost here. Stay cool with a spring tune-up with Clark Heating, Air and Plumbing. Don't wait. Schedule today. Give us a call at 334-277-2125. Alabama certification number 09098.
Rich Thomas weather.
Oh, hi, everybody. Kind of an interesting forecast for tonight. We'll drive through the evening hours, but overnight tonight, there could be some scattered, possibly strong storms, maybe severe. A tornado can't be ruled out, especially in the western counties. Low temperature 59. Then a little break. It becomes breezy, warm, high 81 Saturday, with the main event coming on later on Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. Showers and storms become likely, some severe. The threats include damaging winds, large hail, and a significant tornado threat. By significant, I mean some of the tornadoes could be quite strong and long track. Then in the wee hours of the morning, that line moves out. Improvement during the day, Sunday, with mostly sunny skies, high near 70. Our weather app will keep you on top of the action with instant push notifications for severe weather alerts. Free in the App Store. Search Rich Thomas Weather. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Delray to Publix.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Oh, we have a couple calls rolling in here. Let's go to Papa John. We haven't talked to him in a while. Hey, Papa John.
How you doing, Papa John?
Hey, guys. I'm doing great. Look, if I can back up about 10 minutes.
All right.
Y'all are talking about Senator Coach and what his future might be or what his plans are. Let me throw something out there. And the reason I say this is because Senator Coach is one of the few politicians that I know that if I heard him say, I am here as a public servant, I want to be where I can do the most good, I would believe it. There's not many I would believe that with. It appears that our president is doing more and more to make our government a constitutional republic, which would entail taking a lot of the powers the federal government has grabbed a hold of and is pushing them back towards the state. I may be wrong, but I think Senator Coach is looking at this as a move for him to have the best opportunity to serve the people by becoming the governor of Alabama after our president has done what he can do to get it back to where the power is now in the state's hands and no longer in the federal government's hands. What are your thoughts?
I agree 100%.
No, that's a great speculation right there. I think you might be on the money. We'll see. It's just go ahead.
I was gonna say can't think of anybody that could run for the office against him that would have a chance.
not anyone I can think of.
Right.
And the reason is, since he has taken his office as senator, I have never seen anybody do a job with the central focus of being what's going to be good for the people that he's representing. And he's not shy. He'll tell you exactly what he's saying. And to me, that's one of the most admirable qualities you can find in a politician, if you can believe him. And he is one person I do believe that people would have faith in to do what is going to be best for the state of Alabama. And I believe with his political contacts and with the things he has done in this term of office so far, I think he has been in contact with and has influenced enough people both at the federal and the state level where he can get things done the way he wants to get them done. And I'm all for him. If he asks me, I'm going to say, run, Bubba, I'll knock on doors for you. So.
All right. Well, we'll see. Okay. He's going to make the decision, I guess, in May, he said.
Yeah. Well, I hope I'm going to pray for him because I hope he makes the decision, come back home and do some good for us here. All right, guys. Well, y'all keep at it. You're doing a great job as always.
Thank you, Papa John. See you, brother.
And speaking of Coach, he said, I think it was on Fox Business, might have been with Kudlow. Tuberville suggests the stock market was too high under Biden. We were probably overbloated with the stock market here for a while. We went up a bit. Of course, this is from a left-wing account. Says, is Tuberville really this stupid, or is he just full of? And then guess who? This is why I saw it. Guess who quote tweeted it?
Who that?
Doug Jones.
Oh.
Doug Jones wrote, hard to comprehend that this guy, Tuberville, was actually in the investment business at one point between coaching gigs. Oh, now I remember he was sued for fraud by some investors and his partner went to prison. Real expert, folks. Hey, Doug, you lost.
Yep.
To quote the great movie Dumb and Dumber, you are one pathetic loser. Absolutely pathetic. And actually, I think Tuberville's point is on the money. We've had an economy, in particular stock market, boosted by a bunch of debt, bunch of cheap money and credit, bunch of government spending, creating a zombie economy. As we try to reprivatize this thing and reset it to where you're actually going to get more jobs back here in this country, actually see real wages rise. I'm amazed that, in fact, the inflation has come down so quick. Those numbers that just came out, it was kind of remarkable. The eggs coming down. Like pretty low. Gasoline
came down. Interest rates are coming down. I mean, it's slowly but surely, but it's better than going up.
So on that note, let's go to Duke. Hey, Duke, how you like them eggs?
What eggs?
Any eggs you like?
They got some eggs in now?
Cheaper eggs.
Oh. I had a question for what's my man's name? Craig.
Okay.
Craig, now you kind of brought back some memories just talking about art, and you remember the group, not the group, a guy named Teddy Pendergrass.
Yeah.
You know,
oh, yeah.
Teddy, you know about Teddy, don't
you? Yeah.
Well, I know about it. Just Another Love, TKO.
That's it.
I'm more of an Al Green guy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Al Green, yeah, that's my boy too. He had one lyric in one of the songs saying, "Pretty as a Mona Lisa." Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and that stuck with me for years and years and years till I saw this picture of this individual. Who in the hell said this woman's pretty? Who claims that this ugly woman is pretty?
Leonardo da Vinci.
Huh?
I said Leonardo da Vinci.
Da Vinci, yes.
Was he blind or half crippled or crazy or something?
Well, he painted the picture, so it'd be really impressive if he was blind.
Maybe he was a fan of her sort of ambivalence, dude.
She's a very comely looking woman. I mean, she's not
use that word anymore.
What now?
You know, pretty
Does that
woman.
mean
like,
ugly? 'Cause she is ugly.
You was around with pretty woman and all that pretty. I mean, they used the word pretty.
I thought it was a dude.
What I mean, what does she need? Lip filler and a BBL? What do you need here, Duke?
Ooh, that would, to modernize her wouldn't be the worst idea in the world.
What you think, Eddie? What you
She's
think?
ugly, there ain't no doubt. But let's look at some lip filler. That wouldn't be the worst idea.
Set
That'd be
the
a
pot to
start.
the kettle, by the way.
Anyway, what I was saying.
We ain't got nothing better to do but talk about old paintings. You know, I saw somebody, a group of people lining up looking at it a few weeks ago over this picture. I mean, anyhow.
No, I'm sorry, dude. You've now got me imagining Teddy Pendergrass like, pour hot wax on me, woman. Like to the Mona Lisa. What?
Take him off.
Maybe Pendergrass knew that the Mona Lisa was the type of girl that works for it, that works for works to stick around.
Yeah, but that bothered me when I first, because that was one of my lines. But the girls, I mean, pretty Mona Lisa, you know. And when I, no wonder the girl that called me back. She must have went home and saw the picture of the lady, and said, I've been her, called her ugly. But Mr. Craig, I got concerns about this thing about giving something back to the state of Alabama, letting them be in control of stuff. Why?
I'm gonna need a little bit more context here. What are you talking about?
Education, for one, that wants to turn the education system back into the hands of the state of Alabama for some reason. Why?
Well, because the Federal Department of Education has proven to be nothing but a money pit for people to promulgate left-wing gobbledygook that has no positive effects on the education of the populace. And therefore, because of that, they should be disbanded and abolished and allow states to implement education in a way that suits their culture and values.
Okay. Before this, the federal government stepped in back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Where was the state of Alabama ranked as far as education in the country?
I don't know. Probably better than 47th.
Yeah. Couldn't be worse than third from the bottom.
Maybe 46 or something, close to Mississippi. But with that said, over the years, how do they still end up at the bottom? So how is it that they're gonna help themselves by being in charge when they can't get stuff like the gambling bill passed and the medical marijuana stuff? The kids suffering right now need that help, but they can't get stuff done if they leave it up to the state of Alabama.
Well, just because Alabama's been ineffective doesn't mean that the federal government has been any more effective. I mean, what's your fear? If the Department of Education goes away, that we'll go from 47th to 50th? Like, what? Honestly, how much worse can it get?
Yeah, we probably will. I mean, they never get anything done, dude. What I'm saying is the fact that you leave them in charge, nothing get done.
Well, but what's getting done now? Dude, nothing's getting done now.
That's what I'm talking about. They're not doing anything now.
So we just continue down the road?
Dude, they'll give it back to us, and then with all that block grant money, we can do expanded school choice. Yeah, and I know how much you love school choice, like giving empowering parents to choose the best place for their child and best manner for their child's education.
All about that.
Yeah, you're right, Duke. The state sucks at this, and the feds suck at this. So let's empower parents.
Give the money back to the parents.
I thought about that as well. So if the state gonna be in charge of the schools from now on, why have the private schools anymore? Just
because the public schools suck.
Yeah,
and people have freedom to educate themselves how they like.
In charge right now, the state gonna be in charge of all the schools, right?
The state's already in charge of most of the schools.
I'm talking about 100% in charge. The federal government, man,
Wait, you want to essentially have the government bring every private institution into the fold? It's illegal to have a private education institution?
Here's what I like to see. If they decide to let the state be in charge of education, okay? If you want your state to be the best, come up from 47 or 50, wherever we are right now. Tongue kind of tying up a little bit. But so I would want all my schools to be the same. I don't want you can't pick on the public school anymore because the state is in charge of all of this stuff now. You're in charge of the private schools and the schools on the corner, daycare school. You know, you're in charge of it all right now. So let's make it all the same so everybody can learn the same and be the best.
If
the state
but people don't learn the
but
same,
everybody
that's-
isn't the same.
No, people don't learn the same.
I understand that, but
doesn't sound like it.
Yeah,
Could have fooled me.
Am I talking over your head a little, Taste?
No, just
you couldn't talk
just
over
agreed
my
with
head
what
if
we
you were
said.
standing on the Empire State Building, dude.
Somehow, you know, if you're gonna be in charge of everybody and make everybody the best.
Well, hey, I honestly don't
you
want the
can't-
school system to get better because it sucks, and then the worse it gets, the more people realize that. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I would rather be sodomized by a freight train than send my children to any public institution in this state. And so for that reason, we will likely homeschool our children, which is a far
I guess
superior
my
method.
last question to you, Mr. Sir.
Mr.
is-
Sir, that's it. That is my official name. That's my official name.
Mr. Sir, Mr. Sir.
If the state don't get the job done, they can't say the federal government is in the way anymore, can they?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you have one person that's been bending you over the barrel and showing you the 50 states, it doesn't mean that the second person in that little hodgepodge is going to be helpful, and that's what you're advocating for. The state sucks, so let's bring this federal institution that equally
You didn't
sucks,
answer my
and that'll
question,
make
though.
it better.
You didn't answer my question.
What was the
Since
question?
since they want the state's hand off of it, so if things don't go well for the state of Alabama for the education, shouldn't the state of Alabama take blame for that?
Yes.
Yeah, they should. And then if they continue to fail, we should just privatize everything.
Agreed.
Hey, okay.
Okay. But
I'm glad we agree.
Now, for Tuberville right now, if you need to put this thing on hold, talking about doing anything else, because a few freezers up there hanging around, assing around, not doing anything, and then Bruce Pearl climb on them and everything. So we may have a coaching job for you now. We'll pay you more for the football.
Wait, could we
coaching
have a
job.
literal
You know?
governor coach?
Oh, that'd be so good.
I mean,
Only in
yeah, we do
Alabama.
that.
A governor
Only in
coach. Like he
Alabama.
can be governor and he can be
I mean-
coach of the Auburn Tigers again.
How many governors can make now $1 million?
That's a few.
Trust me,
Yeah.
that man ain't worried about money and
Yeah, I
has
think
not in
Tuberville's
quite
got
some
plenty
time.
of
I know
money.
that, but what I'm saying now, white folks love money. You know, white folks love money by the pound.
Yeah,
Now-
black
now
folks
you
hate
look
it,
English-
right?
Yeah, what's the GDP of Jordans? Like bigger than like the entire continent
Yeah,
of
and,
Africa.
and I'll tell you what, Koreans can't stand money. What are they building factories and stuff?
Yeah.
To build things?
Indians, they love poverty.
Anyway, man, let me get off here, man. I know it's probably got another caller too, waiting on you. But Mr. Craig, get some stuff done at the state house down there, man. Come on, man. We need to get something done.
All right, well, they didn't elect
They
me.
waiting on Trump to do it. They waiting on Trump to do everything. Come on.
They almost never listen to my recommendations. Much
You
to my
should start
chagrin.
doing the opposite then. Pull a Costanza. Start telling them the opposite of what they should do. Let them do that.
I like it, Eddie.
Yeah. Get out, think them.
Well, I appreciate it, Duke.
See you, Duke.
This part of the program brought to you by Smokehouse Pit Barbecue.
Oh, I got a plan for Smokehouse tomorrow.
Oh, yeah?
So we got all this weather coming in tomorrow afternoon,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So I've got to run around and do in the morning. Got a few clients I'm going to go deal with.
Mhm.
I'm going to whip through Millbrook right around lunchtime, pick up some Smokehouse for lunch, and then I'm going to pick it up for dinner. So while everybody else is playing with the power and trying to cook dinner, because power's going on and off as these storms come through, I got mine ready to go.
Ooh. You're going to get some fried chicken, maybe some fried pork chops?
Actually, I'm going to get some ribs.
Ooh, some ribs.
I'm picking up the camp stew because I can microwave that the next day. They'll be quite delicious.
All right.
I'll probably get me some fried okra.
Okay.
And because the grandkids will be there, definitely some mac and cheese.
I think last week, Craig, you went with the sweet potato fries as the side.
Sweet potato fries and mac and cheese and ribs. Because ribs will keep for days
Yeah.
and days and days. Brisket, not so much, but ribs, oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I kind of like just stopping by there and go get a loaded barbecue potato. I'm looking at a
That's a big
photo
old potato,
of it.
man.
Oh my God, that
With
looks
real
good.
bacon.
Yeah,
Mhm.
here, hold on. Let me turn this around. I'll put it on camera and show it to
Yeah.
y'all as well. Look
Yes,
at that.
that's what I'm
thing,
talking
Greg.
about right there.
Gosh.
Look at that thing.
Yeah,
That's a spud right there.
Bacon bits are of the devil.
That's
and
right.
of course, don't forget about Smokehouse Pit Barbecue's amazing breakfast.
Mhm.
They'll be open tomorrow morning.
That's
and
right.
You can get the cheese grits is where you need to go and stop by and try. It's so good. But biscuits, custom-made breakfast sandwiches, breakfast bowls, some Southern classics like biscuits and gravy. They
That's
do
right.
it all very, very well. So y'all stop by Smokehouse Pit Barbecue today. Same location they've always been in Main Street in Millbrook. And be sure to tell them that Joey, Nettie, and Craig, those guys on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
When you need a new door or window replaced, you want someone experienced who delivers expert craftsmanship every time. Davis Door and Sash. Right now, you can get a tax incentive for installing energy-efficient doors and windows. Mention this ad and get 10% off materials. Davis Door and Sash was voted best of the River Region in windows and installation in 2024. We'd love to work for you. Call 334-288-6010 or visit davisdoorandsashalabama.com. Davis Door and Sash is the perfect fit for your home.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Mark. Welcome back. I think you could do the Trump dance to this song.
Oh, definitely. Craig's always busting it out.
Don't make me pull up the German YMCA.
Oh, Joey, that was so good. That was so good.
It's so good. Welcome back to the show. And I'm seeing a familiar name I actually haven't seen in ages, though. Rasta Man.
Yeah.
Hello.
What's going on, Joey Clark? Man,
Good to hear from
it's
you.
really good to hear your voice, man. I am back in Alabama, and you know, I've been in Cincinnati for the last couple of years getting surgeries on my spine.
Ooh.
I've got like 10 titanium plates and 30 screws.
Dang.
And you know, they don't know how to cook up there. Their food sucks. City food sucks. City food sucks. I brought one of my friends down here a couple of months ago, and he was just so amazed. He was like, I got to move down here because the food is so good. And I told him, I said, once you come down, you don't want to go back.
Yeah.
Wow.
But, you know, I'm really happy, Joey, to see what you're doing, man. I'm so proud of you. And I have to remind you and all the listeners of something that happened several years ago. Man, I remember you, me, Dan Morris, Jenny Johnston, and your mother sitting at Dan's house, and you were serenading us with the guitar, and it was, you know, that was one of the most special moments, man. And your mother was one of the sweetest people I have ever met in my life, man. And I just have to let everybody, man, know that was very special. It meant a lot to me, man, to be a part of that.
Well, Rasta Man,
it really did.
It's been a weird, funky show today, but you just made my day by bringing back that memory. And man, it's great to hear your voice. And by the way, Craig Monger, who's here in the studio, is also a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Is it not true that you worked in New Zealand on the production team?
That is the rumor.
Actually, I worked in Hollywood on the special features of the movie, and I walked the red carpet with them. I was on the red carpet they were nominated for 11 Oscars for Return of the King, and I walked the red carpet with them. They won all 11 Oscars. It was a record that year.
I saw it 5 times in theaters that year.
Is Viggo Mortensen as handsome as he looks on screen?
Yes, he is.
Ludicrous. Man, is good looking.
Let me tell you, I tell you, once you work on a movie like Lord of the Rings, after that job is over, you're gonna get jobs. I got a lot of jobs behind that, and you know, I'm watching you and doing what you're doing, man, and I'm just really proud of you, man.
Thank you.
I see what you're doing, and it's great, man, because man, you've got the key position right now, and it's just great to see you doing this.
Well, it's great to hear from you. And now that you're back in town, let's get together, but also keep calling in. Let's keep this going.
I will indeed. I will indeed. I got a new house. I got 115 acres. I got a little pond behind my house. I can go trout fishing every morning if I want to.
Beautiful.
So yeah, but I'm still broadcasting. I'm still in the broadcasting business. So I'm looking forward to seeing you, man.
Absolutely. Likewise. Well, I think here, real quick, stay on hold. I want to get you my cell phone number direct. But
gotcha, bro.
Yeah, I got it. It's a 3-3. Oh, sorry.
This, before I forget, part of the program brought to you by Prattville Carpet. I guess normally we'd be talking to Ray today, but all the lines are.
I can't get out. I'm trapped.
Right. But Prattville Carpet, they'll show up free in-home measurement.
That's
Just
right.
call them up and have them stop by, and they'll measure the area you want to resurface, and they'll pick out the product you want to resurface that: carpet, traditional hardwood, luxury vinyl plank. The new epoxy floors are truly amazing.
But you can also go by their place in Prattville and check out, man, they got samples of carpet, and they got miles and miles of carpet. Every kind of sample under the sun, whether it be tile, ceramic tile, you looking for backsplash. One of my favorite things, Joey, heated floors. I'm telling you, I know it's summer now, nobody's thinking about it, but come winter, you're going to want that heated floor. So if you're thinking about doing something like that in your bathroom, make sure you mention the fact of, hey, how much more for that heated floor?
So call them up today, 285-8117. And when you call them at 285-8117, be sure to tell them that Joey Nettie, the Souls on the Radio, sent you. Don't completely get rid of this because I need to take a picture of it in a second, but
Gotcha.
That's my number to give to him. So let's see here. Let's go to Woody. Hey, Woody, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Joey. How are you?
Good. Oh, and before I forget, folks, stay tuned. If you're wondering about the weather coming up this weekend, Rich Thomas will be joining Greg Budell at 3:05. Y'all stay tuned in just a few shopping minutes.
Hey, I had a question for Craig. Craig, are you still there?
I am indeed, sir. How are you?
I was curious. What are your chances of that bill, the overtime, no tax on overtime bill? What do you think about that?
Oh no,
Think
that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna fade away. The overtime tax exemption is going to fade away, and they're putting forward this new package of quote unquote tax cuts that they're going to put in its place. So yeah, it's donezo.
Man,
Wow.
crap.
They're such scumbags.
Yep.
I got a lot of friends that were looking forward to it. All right. Well, I was just curious. I knew you'd probably know.
No,
Y'all have
I
a great
appreciate it.
weekend.
Thank you, Woody.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Man, that's such crap.
We lost
Damn.
Jeff.
Jeff.
My name's Jeff.
I'm Jeff.
What did we learn today? It really was a weird, funky show today. I have to admit.
It's always a weird, funky show on Fridays, and I feel like it's all my fault.
I learned Craig's new name is Mr. Sir. Mr. Sir.
I learned that Teddy Pendergrass alluded to the Mona Lisa. Duke taught us a lot of things.
I learned that Eddie thinks that the Mona Lisa is ugly.
That dude.
What?
I thought everyone knew it was a dude.
Oh no, that's the oldest conspiracy theory, isn't it? That the
I'm an
Mona
older
Lisa's
guy, so
actually
yeah,
a
I
dude.
remember we were like, it's a dude.
Was it
that's
trans-
a dude,
it was
dude.
Dude.
People that have speculated that's a trans self-portrait of Da Vinci.
I didn't say that, but it's a dude.
I mean, maybe. Who knows?
It's a very comely tranny. I had to use the word again since Joey was so
Yeah,
shocked.
you can't
earlier.
use that word anymore. Not in today's political climate. Whatnot.
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 But of course, the whatnot.
I love whatnot at the end of a sentence.
I went through a whole phase where I couldn't say a frickin' sentence on air without saying and whatnot.
I've realized that I say "by the way" way too much, so I'm
Mhm.
trying to cut back on it.
I'll make a real estate commercial without saying the word great. Go ahead, I try you.
Fantastic. It's Wow, you're right. There's not a lot of synonyms.
It's great, and you go into it going, no great, no great, and this room is great.
Very nice.
It's very nice.
You have to go into like German. Wunderbar.
I am Jeff.
Well, let's get out of here. Again, Rich Thomas joining Greg Budell here in just a few shopping minutes. Y'all want the latest update on what's coming our way in terms of weather this weekend. Y'all stay tuned. Thank you both. Thank you, gentlemen.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana.